left on the shot clock. He elevates for three. Leaned in and bounced up and in. Jimmy Butler has lost his mind. 34 points. 2 of 4 from the land of milk and honey. The sun shines. People forget.
Did my man say from the land of milk and honey? That's a great call right there. And a good afternoon, everybody. It's the Daily Ticket. Off and running here on what's today? Thursday. Thank God. We're getting there. We're getting there. I had to think for a second. Shoulders still killing me. Hurting. Got Jansen here rolling in. You with us?
I'm a busy man.
I bet you are. As I'm gonna go.
Why do you say it like that?
Wow.
What?
I sent you the link. Log in. Get on this stream because we got a lot of things to get to. As you heard, the story of the sports world, of course, is the one and only Mr. Jimmy Butler. And he did it again last night. Shined. And, I got to credit Julian Edlow. I'm so happy Julian Edlow came on this show yesterday. He saved me money because I thought that the Celtics were the play last night. I did. I thought going into it that this series was going to be tough. I didn't think that this series was going to be easy for the Celtics by no means. 6 games. But all in all, I just thought that the magic that the Miami Heat have would run out. And it's not going to. Because that team is coached different. That's number one. Number two, they're led by a guy who will not allow them to lose, it seems. I mean, granted, they did lose a game to the Knicks. Don't get me wrong. Was that 4-1? Did that go 6?
Did that go 6?
No, I don't think it did.
Yeah, it did. I think it did go 6.
Did it go 6? Oh, yeah, they did. They did. You're right. Again, it's just crazy to watch what Jimmy Butler is doing right now.
Jimmy Butler.
35 points, 7 assists, 6 steals, 5 boards. It's the 5th time that's been done in playoff game. The others, Jordan Payton, Rick Barry. Miami is 7-0 this postseason when Jimmy goes for 25 or more, which should just be a given. Bam Adebayo had himself a good game.
Yeah, and it's the crazy part is it's not just Jimmy Butler. It's everyone. I guess you could say he's
Jimmy.
No, I know.
Jimmy's leading everything.
I'm tired of just Jimmy Butler, though. Can we give credit to Kyle Lowry? Can we give credit to Caleb Martin? Can we give credit to Max Strus?
No.
Gabe Vincent?
No.
Bam Adebayo?
No.
Kevin Love?
No.
Okay, nobody.
No.
It's just Jimmy Butler.
Just
He's
Jimmy.
scoring every single point of the 123 that they had.
Yes.
Okay.
It's just Jimmy Butler. No, it's
it's not taking away anything from Jimmy Butler.
Get it.
It's just the Heat are good.
Hang on. It's not just Jimmy Butler. It's Eric frigging Spoelstra.
That too, yes. They have a great coach.
You're
Absolutely.
looking at a team that was one of the worst, if not the worst, against the spread this year, John. This is ridiculous what we're seeing right now. So how is it happening? Kyle Lowry's telling us we're not your typical 8 seed. You bet your ass you're not. And you're lucky you're even in the playoffs.
Yes, they are.
This is crazy. This is not who they were this whole regular season. It's not. Last year, I'll give it to you. Were they the 1 seed last year? 2 seed? Whatever it was. It's just crazy what we're watching right now. And who the hell?
It is crazy. Absolutely.
This is Leicester City in the English Premier League a few years ago.
Whoa.
It is because 200 to 1. The Miami Heat were 200 to 1. There's people out there with 200 to 1 tickets that the Miami are going to win the championship. I think Leicester City was right around that ballpark.
That's incredible. I didn't know that number from earlier.
I think I might have to bring that up to 300 to 1 for Leicester City, but people can correct me if I'm wrong on that one. Either way,
because what you're saying, Leicester City's the biggest underdog of all time.
That was the craziest story in the history of sports.
Yes,
because the totality
and now they're about to be
of
like
season,
relegated, aren't they?
Yeah, the full season of what they did. I just am blown away by watching what Jimmy Butler's able to do. And look.
So I'm not blown away by Jimmy Butler anymore.
Come on, dude.
I know, I get it. But Jimmy Butler has been doing this with the Heat.
Link onto this so we can use this video, please.
It's not just Jimmy Butler, though. I'm amazed at how many undrafted free agents that they have, undrafted players that nobody would know of if it wasn't for what they're doing right now.
You don't think I knew who Caleb Martin was or Max Strauss?
Max who?
Kid.
Max Strauss,
honestly,
Gabe Vincent.
I couldn't tell you anything about these guys other than the fact of what I saw this year. But
we're not seeing them just every once in a while put up a good game. I mean, these guys are all shooting like 50% from three or better.
Yes.
That's absurd.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
So what Jimmy Butler is doing is amazing. So I don't want to downplay that. But I think
thank you.
I think the story is bigger than just Jimmy Butler here.
Oh man, I don't know.
It is.
I disagree.
These guys that aren't good basketball, or you would consider very good basketball players, are all of a sudden good enough to beat Boston, to beat Milwaukee, New York, obviously. New York had their issues.
Yeah.
But these guys are playing extremely well around Jimmy Butler. It doesn't just take one player. It doesn't take one player to get to where they're at.
The leadership,
and to already have a 1-0 lead and to do the things they
leadership that he is bringing.
I get it.
The fact that he's filling up the box score.
But he's not the only one filling up the box score. Bam Adebayo's been fantastic. This is the best he's played probably since the bubble.
Miami shot 34% from downtown. They were 27th in the NBA regular season. This is absurd what we're seeing. It really is. It's an incredible story, and I hope people are paying attention to it. Hope people are giving it the time, because you bet your ass they have an opportunity to win this whole thing.
Oh, they do. They do. It's almost, isn't it reminiscent of the Phillies, I guess, of last year, where you just get in, even if it's the play-in game. Wild card feels like the play-in tournament now because of how short the series are. Just get in, get hot. Phillies bats got really hot. Phillies pitching got hot. Right now, Jimmy Butler's incredible, like Bryce Harper was, and you have so many guys around him that are also hitting extremely well.
All right, I might have got my Leicester City. City.
How big was that Leicester City ticket?
I have to look it up. I might have got my Leicester City odds wrong. So that's a bad job by me. I thought they were 200 to 300 to 1. I'll take it back. I'll say 300 to 1 was what Leicester City was. Somebody just texted me a wacko number here, and I don't agree with that. I'll have to look that up. Wow, they were 5,000 to 1. They were right. I apologize.
Oh.
All right, just a little bit off from Leicester City. But anyways, you understand what I'm saying. This team was terrible during the regular season.
We will never see anything like that again.
The Miami, no, that story doesn't get enough.
You're right
to
point out that Miami was a team that, had those very long odds. This was a long shot. Didn't they lose a play-in game before they ended up winning one? So this is a very long shot, and still it's not even close or comparable to what Leicester City did.
They lost to Toronto. Or no, who'd they lose to? Who's the play-in game? Remember, they were trailing. The Heat were trailing to the Bulls at home, and they came back to win that game.
Yeah, if they got the 8th seed, that means they had to lose one. Yeah, they were losing to the Bulls. Yeah. That's incredible.
Again, it's wild to me right now.
That's just that's an amazing organization.
5,001. So bad job by me.
Top to bottom. And I think Jimmy Butler's definitely thriving with them in a way that he wouldn't have thrived in Minnesota or here with the Sixers. I mean, that's just from top to bottom. That's a winning organization.
Oh, that's
Pat Riley to ownership, all the way down to Eric Spoelstra, all the way down to Jimmy Butler, and all the way down to the bench that they have and the guys coming off the bench. I mean, it is top to bottom. It's what the Sixers. It's the complete opposite of the Sixers. The absolute complete opposite. Sixers wanted the easy way. They wanted the process. They wanted to get all these star players. They went star hunting even after the process, and Jimmy Butler was part of that star hunting, and it just bred a loser culture. While Miami did things the right way, they're developing players. They're developing players to win, continuing to win, and have great coaching beside that and working really well, coaching with front office. It's just top to bottom. Maybe because they've been on quite a run here. This isn't just this year. This has been a few years now that they've been on this run. And it has to be one of the best, most well-run organizations in the NBA.
All right, so remember the Bulls, they beat the Bulls, but they lost to the Hawks. That's what it was. It wasn't the Raptors.
They lost to the Hawks.
Correct.
That's right.
Correct.
Because Trae Young went bananas in that game.
And I bet the Miami Heat to win that game, and then when they lost, that left a bad taste in my mouth, and that was just brutal.
Man,
I haven't recovered since, apparently. But again, so fast forward, moving on from of course the Miami Heat side of things. Let's talk about the Boston Celtics. And I just don't understand what Missoula's doing. I just don't get it. How do you allow a team to go for 46 and a quarter? You don't use a timeout when the Avalanche is just taking you over. Where you saw in the fourth quarter, what did Spoelstra do as soon as the Miami Heat made a run, or as soon as the Boston Celtics made a run? Called a timeout. I'm not sitting here telling you that would have been the difference, but Missoula, there are things I like, and then there are things that I'm just throwing my hands up going, dude, what are you there to do? It
seems like he's too late to figure things out.
What are you there? Like, I love the mental aspect, right? He's got the jiu-jitsu background. You bet your ass that's
Was he fighting guys in the locker if they don't do well?
No, it's just, again, I don't think he has to fight. That's what you think about MMA. All these muscle-headed,
turn over the ball late in the fourth quarter. Meet me on the mat, buddy.
No, you know what? That actually would work for the 76ers.
Would it?
Maybe.
I don't know, man.
Maybe
I think Embiid would quit.
Maybe. Probably right. Maybe the Sixers need to go out there. I know
that's not fair. I'm throwing out cheap shots on Embiid. That's not fair.
Oh, everything's circling back to Embiid in just 5 minutes here.
Okay.
Hang on.
Oh boy.
Let's talk about the Celtics though some more here, because Missoula has one of the best rosters right now. Tatum and Jaylen Brown are just a sick 1-2 punch. I don't have to tell you. We watched it for 7 games. When that team wants to play, watch out. They play great defense majority of the times. But tell me if you didn't get that game 1 vibe all over again when the Sixers went up there to the Garden and stole game 1. That's how I looked at last night going, wow, it really felt like that. Other than Jimmy Butler only going for 35 instead of going for what had Harden gone in game 1, 42, 44, whatever it
40,
was.
Yeah, 40-something.
So, I'm not putting dirt on the Boston Celtics by no means, but what I am saying is, dude, as from the gambling standpoint, I don't know who's comfortable laying money on them anymore. Now, we got the game 2 background, of course, the trends, and we'll go into the numbers. And, when it comes to game 2 for teams that are favored at home, losing game 1, it's almost a guarantee for game 2. We get it. And we're going to see it tonight from the standpoint of the LA Lakers. I know they're on the road, but everybody expects the Lakers to take that big step forward tonight because the Denver Nuggets won game 1. We'll see you in that one. We got plenty of time to discuss that game. But as far as where we stand with the Boston Celtics, I flip-flop for that Warriors series.
We talk about Embiid's fourth quarter issues and Harden. I know Tatum went off in game 7, so that's all that's going to be talked about. But he fades away a lot late in these games.
Well, again.
And not like he played poorly. It's just.
He didn't touch the ball. He didn't touch the ball. He went through like a 4-minute stretch. He didn't get the ball.
So who's that on? Though?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's on the player A and B, the coach.
The coach. It's both. Yeah.
But this is very similar to what the Sixers went through.
We literally just have gone through all of it.
Where Joel Embiid's got to demand the ball, but if he's huffing and puffing and out of breath and doesn't have the stamina to go to 48,
want it, or he just doesn't want it.
And your guess is as good as mine on that one. But from the Celtics standpoint,
it's just odd to me because either Tatum's putting up 50 or Tatum Tatum had a really good game. I'm not saying he had a bad game. He was great. It's just that in those moments where the avalanche is coming, where is he? And it's just he fades away too often in those moments.
And that game got over fast.
Oh, it was. Yeah.
It was like, that's it. That's all she wrote. You're not gonna catch the Miami Heat.
And it's not like the score ever ballooned to a point where Boston couldn't come back, but it just felt like the Heat just kept them at arm's length.
The Heat grind you down.
Yep.
They grind you down. They work
that's the type of player Butler is too.
Yeah. And as to what you pointed out already, you had multiple players making shots. Again, focusing on a Boston standpoint, my big takeaway is I don't have confidence in laying my hard-earned money on this team. I just don't. I don't. And for the price,
are we going to that game 2 trend though?
Well,
isn't this falling into the game 2 trend that Jared has mentioned before?
Yes. Well, that's exactly where everybody's thinking. But
yeah,
I'm not there. I'll skip.
Staying away from that one.
I'll skip because from what we saw last night, I'll tell you straight up where my mind is right now. It's a lot like the Warriors and Lakers in that series, where I was feeling really good about my thought process going into it, thinking, dude, Golden State championship mentality. They're going to run around. Lakers aren't going to have enough offense to hang. It's going to be like a 130-110 final score. Nope, was not the case.
Well, to your point, the team that did in that scenario cover against the spread in game 2 was actually Miami. They covered against the Knicks in game 2. They lost that game.
Yeah.
They also didn't have Jimmy Butler, and they still covered. So they were the ones to break that trend last round. And maybe they can do it again this round. What is that number? Has that gotten the double digits yet? I know it was at 9.
9. Sitting at 9 at DraftKings. All right. Well, love to get everybody involved in the conversation at Fox PHL Gambler, at Fox PHL Gambler. Hit us up on socials. Steve, my dog. Steve checking in. I'm sorry, Steve. I didn't have your number saved. Thank you, though, man. 5,000 to 1. Are you kidding me? 5,000 to 1. Leicester City was 5,000 to 1.
That's insane.
Good grief. So I want to bring this back. All right, first of all, get everybody involved in the conversation. Your takeaway from Jimmy Butler last night, Boston Celtics. Of course, we'll get into Western Conference game 2 tonight a little bit later. I promise you that. We'll get your thoughts there. But just focusing on what we saw in game 1 last night, of course, you just heard what I had to say. It's just Jimmy Butler and Spoelstra. You can move on from everybody else hitting their shots. They're NBA players.
Come on,
they're
man.
paid
You
to
gotta
do
give
that.
credit.
They're
I know, but come on, they're doing it though.
Jimmy,
every player is paid to do it. Not that they can't do it.
Jimmy
that often,
is involved in 98% of that offense.
Oh my.
Whether it's an assist, a hockey assist, I don't know what else he's doing behind the scenes.
But I think that offense helps
for everybody.
I think that offense helps him too. He's certainly a big part of it.
Yeah, Spoelstra's amazing.
But Spoelstra's amazing.
Which brings me to full circle here. Let's get over to Philadelphia for a second.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and as expected, everybody is hot and bothered. Everybody's frustrated, and I'm right there with you, people. Like I am so mad at the Sixers. Of course, what we do every year is put the stuff away. We won't wear. I got some really nice Sixers gear. I got a nice red hat that I just bought 2 weeks ago,
that yet?
and
No,
I can't wear it.
I thought when our teams do bad, we just burn it all.
No, we don't burn it. No, we hold on to it till next year. We're putting it away. All right, so I'm putting it away. I don't want anything to do with it right now. I get it.
You got to wash it a few times for the cycle. You got to wash away the stink.
You folks are so mad, and I'm right there with you. So is John. John's right there with you. We're all frustrated, but you can't do something so stupid. Yes, so stupid as of trading Joel Embiid for whatever trade proposal you're putting in the ESPN trade machine that makes sense in your little mind.
Yeah, I thought that was common sense, and the response we got when we put that out there today was surprising.
Well, how about the kid that was on Crossing Broad? The kid's rolling out Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins.
Are you even sure Jordan Poole's a good basketball player right
and
now?
Draft picks.
So they're the last seed in a play-in game?
I want to ask you point blank. Does Joel Embiid improve next season, John Jansen? Yes or no?
I don't know if he improves, but I don't know if he gets worse.
Would you bet against him?
I would not bet against him.
Okay.
No. He will be a 30-something point per game player, double-double player, and the Sixers will be a top 3 seed.
And I get that that's the regular season, but folks, they play the games for a reason.
I'll just say Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, whatever draft picks you get are not getting you the top 3 seed.
Oh, no. And
by the way, who knows what Milwaukee's going to be next year? You know, like I think Jaylen Brown's going to be back. We are seeing that. Winning cures everything. And maybe if they get bounced in the Eastern Conference Finals by Miami, who knows? But Jordan Poole's likely going to stay there. So Boston's going to be great. Who knows what Milwaukee's going to be? They only get Doc Rivers now, reportedly.
Really? I didn't see that.
Yeah, there was a report that Doc Rivers was a secret candidate.
There's 3 head coaches in the whole league, right?
I know.
It's just 3 head coaches. Take
just
one.
cycle through them.
That's it, yeah. So all I know is, like, for the people that want to sit there and say that they're frustrated, we're all in agreement, right? No arguments.
Yeah, don't make decisions while you're frustrated. Though.
Yeah, you almost have to believe that what we saw these last 2 seasons is not a fluke. And I don't think that that's like too much to ask. Joel Embiid has improved year after year. 2 years ago, he was second in scoring. This year, he led the league in scoring. He bumped the tick up, won the MVP. He got better. He's 29 years old. I get it. The injuries are always a current concern with Joel Embiid. They have been since day one. But for the people out there that want to say, well, I'm always right with my Joel Embiid. No, you're not. Because I was one of those guys after he missed his second consecutive season to start that I said, well, if this guy ever sees the floor, that's all we can ask for at this point in time. I think he's done a little bit more than just seen the floor. Joel Embiid is an MVP. He's a superstar. He is a top 5 player in the league, bar none. I don't laugh at this. But I was reminded after watching game 1, do you remember the NBA All-Star game? Do you remember where Joker was picked? It's stupid, but it's something that clicked in my mind. He was the last freaking pick from all the players. The last pick in the NBA All-Star game. You know who the first pick was? Joel Embiid. Like, you guys put yourself in a player's perspective, in a player's position. A Dame Lillard, a LeBron, Kevin Durant. If they were playing with Joel Embiid and they said, hey, we're going to move Joel Embiid, what do you think those players are going to say? They're going to lose their minds.
Nobody would come to the Sixers.
Lose their minds. And folks, if you want to trade Joel Embiid right now, I'm sorry, you've lost yours. There is no reason why you trade JoJo at this point in time. You're not going to get your bang for your buck. You're going to take a hit. This franchise is going to go south. All right. So here's the deal. What can improve this team? What can make JoJo different next year? If Harden's here, what can you get more out of James Harden? The only hope is coaching. That's it.
And supporting cast.
It comes down to coaching number one.
Right, coaching, but
coaching is number one.
You have to have championship pieces. And I think they had enough
the
this
Miami
year,
Heat have championship pieces?
No, not what we would consider, but they've turned them into championship pieces. But I don't think the Sixers I don't think the Sixers have the capacity to turn players like that into championship pieces.
Year one, John, but I'm telling you right now that the only hope for this organization is to hit a grand slam, not a home run, a grand slam with this next coach.
Yeah, but there's no coach like Eric Spoelstra.
You don't know.
No, we do know.
No, you don't.
We do.
Show me the list that Daryl Morey's looking at. You got it in front of you? Because if you got it, then tweet it out.
I'm sure it's Nick Nurse, it's Mike Budenholzer, it's Monty Williams.
There's more names.
It's Mike D'Antoni.
There's more names than you know.
Who though?
There's more names. I don't know.
What, is Jay Wright on that list?
I hope.
But yeah. Okay. So all of a sudden they're going to just pick a guy off the street or an assistant coach, and he's all of a sudden Eric Spoelstra. It took
not everybody needs to be Eric Spoelstra.
But you are comparing. You're trying to say the coach means something so you can develop those role players. What needs? I mean, you need a good coach. I'm not saying that.
Yes,
you need a good coach.
I'm telling you, that's the only hope.
No, there's more to that, though. You need coach. You need to get better role players. I don't know if they can, though. You know, I thought this version of the Sixers had that. Obviously, your bench wasn't good.
Role players.
I mean, outside of Embiid and Harden, you need guys. Now you have Maxey too, and I don't even know if Harden's going to be there. But yeah, can you get somebody better than Tobias? Can you get somebody better than PJ Tucker? Can you get somebody better than Melton, better than Niang, better than Daniel House Jr., better than those guys?
Hey, I heard you just say, I don't know if Harden's going to be here. Let's have a listen to what Daryl Morey had to say about James Harden.
And a follow-up with James obviously having the player option. Do you anticipate him being back here with the Sixers?
We can't have those discussions yet, but we are interested in bringing him back.
Let me tell you, James Harden will be back in the Sixers uniform.
You think so?
And you and I agree with
that. I ultimately think he will.
I do too. I think there's truth with that Houston Rockets situation, but I think the Sixers are so desperate, and Daryl Morey knows, in order to keep this thing going.
It's the exact definition of a team that would want to pay James Harden 4 years max.
Well,
desperate. You're absolutely right. Desperate.
I'm not so sure that that's the money that he'll fetch. But again,
you would hope he doesn't.
The most important move right now for the Sixers is the coach, because that's the only hope we have. If for everybody out there wants to trade Joel Embiid, that's not the answer. The answer is hitting a grand slam with this next head coach.
Yes. The other part of that is Morey's got to do better. Morey's got to get better players.
100%. Well, Morey's got to start by...
At least
wait. This is up to Daryl Morey, the coach.
Oh, yeah, the coach. Right.
Because
so
he said,
all up to Morey.
He said the players have zero... won't have any input on the next head coach.
And they shouldn't. I always hate that.
Wow. You don't go to Joel Embiid for a little thought process? That's tough. That's a tough pill to swallow, man. You don't think they went to Kobe Bryant about an LA Laker coach? You don't think they went to LeBron?
What's the difference between Kobe and LeBron?
You don't think they went to Kevin Durant about Steve Nash?
Okay. What has
that worked out well?
Yeah, no, that was terrible. Right. Kevin Durant hasn't won anything outside of Golden State.
Fine with it, but I just didn't like the way it sounded. Like you could go ahead and involve Joel Embiid to a point. And I don't think anybody would be upset if Daryl Morey said, well, of course, there are some players that we will definitely get their input, and JoJo would be one of them.
I'm sure that Embiid is going to be involved in a way with those conversations, but involved in making the decision, no.
No, I agree with that. I agree.
Let players be players, coaches be coaches, general managers be general managers.
Folks, I'd love to hear from you out there.
And if you're LeBron James, you can be whatever the hell you want because you're LeBron James.
I don't want to get into, well, show me a trade because we don't know who's available. This season's still going on.
There's not going to be a top 10 to 5 to 10 player available. I know that.
I saw
Who are you gonna get?
somebody tweeted me and told me that they would trade Scoot if Scoot's available at the number 3 pick.
Get the hell out of here with stuff like that.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
I said, dude, come on, man. I'm bookmarking this tweet for January.
Didn't Sixers just go the route of lottery players and look what they have won? And you want to trade the only one that worked?
Sixer fans, I know you're passionate. I'm right there with you.
I know
you're pissed.
I get it. I know asking to be reasonable when you're frustrated, it's just there's no point of it. And I completely understand that. But like when I throw the common sense thing out there, if you can't trade an MVP player away and it gets met with all of this, well, you can't be in the second round in game 7s losing all the time. Well, where else do you want to be? What's the alternative? What's the alternative?
Somebody tweeted me and said something on the lines of like
the alternative is process part 2.
Somebody tweeted me and said, "Oh well, just because he throws up 40 against Charlotte in the regular season," I'm like, he was
They're in game 7 in round 2 against one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference.
But hang on,
where else do you want to be? Do you want to be playing Charlotte in the play-in game?
No, but hang on. The point I'm trying to make is he did a little bit more than just score 40 against Charlotte. He averaged 32, 33. What was the number? 33. Like he did a little bit more than just score one time 40 against
have
Charlotte.
Been in multiple times in round 2 game 7s against the best teams in the Eastern Conference.
Need to get over the hump.
They need to get over the hump, absolutely.
And they could do it with the right coach.
But who else is going to get them to that spot? Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins are going to get the Sixers back there again?
I know, man. It's like
what's the alternative is? It's okay, round 2, game 7, losing all the time sucks. But would you rather be in the play-in games? Would you rather be the 9th seed in the Eastern Conference? Would you rather be the Sixers pre-process?
No.
Would you want round 1s getting by and just being there? Or would you rather have a chance at it? I know the chance hasn't ended up rewarding you, but at least they have these chances. You can't just take that chance away. What the alternative is so much more less. You're never going to get a player better than Embiid. You're never going to get a haul. And I saw this comment was
this year
superstars, but even in the long term.
Well, I think like I don't only want to talk about it this offseason. Like I'm not willing to sit here and say you're going to be wrong next year. I'm not ready to say that.
If you want to finally make the move to say this is never going to get it done, just move on from it now and rebuild, go ahead. But I hope people know it's rebuild. It's not anything else.
Of course.
It's not anything else.
No,
it's rebuild. It's process part 2. And if you want to go through that again, fine, go ahead. I would actually take my chances with a player that's getting you pretty damn close to where you want it to be.
It's the way I see it, but I think there is.
How many players are there that's of that caliber?
There's light at the end of the tunnel. Again, I'm going to come back to it. It's about coaching. I get it. It's the NBA. Sometimes we don't factor it in that much, but it's our only hope because there's not many options out there. I'm not trading Joel Embiid. You're not going to give me the haul that I need in return. I still believe. And if you folks out there, look, this is your time. The anti-Embiid people out there, this is your time. This whole offseason, I'm going to give it right to you. I'm not going to respond. He's going to be the butt of jokes this whole offseason.
Well, I'll be honest. I'm down on Embiid more than I ever have been.
You should be.
And I think you should be. Absolutely.
But I asked you.
But that doesn't mean I have to make these irrational.
Will you bet against him for next year? And you said no.
He's going to be a 30-point player again.
And that is what I would ask everybody else. Again, that dude hopped up on there talking about Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins and draft picks. And he said, you're never going to get him as high as this because of he's coming off an MVP season. Sure, but the year before he was runner-up. So, like and the year before that he was runner-up. So, it's like right there. Also, he said, the injury history, big men into the 30. I'm right there with you. But he's not 30 yet. He's 29. And I'm talking about one more season. I'm not moving on from Joel Embiid at this point in time. That is not going to happen. We got to run this back with a better coach and hopefully a better supporting cast. Hello, Daryl Morey.
Hello, Daryl.
I think you hear me knocking, and we're coming in, brother. All right, let's keep it moving here. Luke Arcani is going to join us on the other side. We're going to talk some Phils here. We got to get caught up. What the hell's going on with the boys on the diamond? Not a good series out there in San Francisco, but they got a couple winnable games coming up here. So we're going to get caught up on all things Phillies in Major League Baseball with Luke Arcani. We got some live action. The Mets with the walk-off last night. I know that our boy Mike Powers was all excited about that. They haven't had much up there in a long time, so I'm happy for Mike Powers. Put a smile on his face. Also, Acuna. Should we just give him the MVP already?
Yes.
Good
yes.
grief.
Yes. Yes.
Plenty to talk about in the MLB side. And then
baseball was fun last night. So I can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah, baseball was
tons of walk-offs, close games. It was great.
I'm hooked. This season's been so much fun. I can't get enough of it. And to our good friend Mark Henry Jr., I would just say, and I'm not playing fantasy baseball, and I'm having so much fun paying attention. How about that?
Fantasy baseball is tough.
Fantasy baseball is cool, but he was just like almost saying that, like, how can you keep up with the league if you don't play fantasy baseball? I'm like, dude, I got the MLB package. I watch it every day. I read the stats. I kind of keep up. I will
say, like you have to intently on your biggest screen have it, but I have my laptop in front of me, 4 games on, and I was just like passively watching while also being able to see like, oh, cool. Tampa Bay and New York are in the 9th inning of this club. I will say that when you do play fantasy, it absolutely takes you more in depth, but I don't think it's necessary. Bryson DeChambeau is off to a great start, 3 under through 14. Of course, PGA Championship update. We got live action. We're going to bring that to you on the other side with Luke Arcani. 5 o'clock, though, I want to plug this. For everybody that's got this revisionist history about Jimmy Butler and what life would have been like if he stayed and why didn't he stay, and you tune in to national radio or even local hosts, it seems like everybody has their own take from that situation. Oh, it was Ben Simmons' fault. The organization decided between Tobias Harris and Jimmy Butler. Oh, Jimmy Butler wanted nothing to do with Brett Brown. Jimmy Butler wanted to go to Miami. Jimmy Butler wanted to stay here. I've heard like 7 different stories in the last 48 hours to the point that it's confusing me. I thought I remembered how it went down. We were on these very airwaves right here covering the games every single day in 2019, right? So now I see a poll pop up from Michael Kasky-Blomain, my guy from CBS Sports. He put a poll out back in 2019. It was make your decision between Tobias Harris or Jimmy Butler. And 91% of the people who voted, it was over 2,000 votes, said Tobias Harris. I don't remember that at all. To me, it was never about Tobias Harris except for the money, and I get that. But again, ultimately, it came down to Jimmy Butler. All right? And nobody knows the story. Nobody's got more in than Gerald Colton. He's going to tell us at 5 o'clock exactly what the facts were when it came to Jimmy Butler and his decision to leave Philadelphia. I don't know. And even outside of the facts, the what-if scenarios, I don't think are – it's just a one-to-one. Well, Butler, what he's doing in Miami, he would have done in Philly because I don't think you can do that.
I think you can.
I don't think you could.
Jimmy Butler was a dog,
different organizations.
Jimmy Butler was a dog, bro.
Jimmy Butler wasn't playing like this, though.
Yeah, but
he wasn't playing like this.
He was always – come on, Jimmy Butler. Look at the stats. Jimmy Butler's been tearing it up since day one in this league. Jimmy Butler's a dog.
But Jimmy Butler wasn't doing anything. He started winning in Miami. Like this, Jimmy Butler in Miami is different than any Jimmy Butler we've seen in Minnesota or Philly. He just is.
From the winning standpoint, as far as an organization,
yes,
I would have to agree with that. But look at the teams he was on. But look at the numbers he put up and trust your eyes in a half a season.
Sometimes to me that matters more than anything.
Look at the half of the season. He was a dog. We were different. And to the point that I wanted to argue with our good friend Mark Henry Jr. coming up again.
Like, I can't stand what if scenarios of what if a guy would have been here and not this place.
I didn't want to get into it. At 5 o'clock.
I do want to get into it. Because I think it's ridiculous.
You'll have plenty of time. Because
what if Patrick Mahomes didn't get Andy Reid to start out? Would he have? I think he would have been great, but would he have been this?
If he had Nick Sirianni, I think he'd be pretty good.
Okay, but Nick Sirianni wasn't even thought to be a coach when he came into the league.
All right.
At that time, that was the best. That was a perfect scenario.
Kyle Shanahan wouldn't be winning with Patrick Mahomes.
Andy Reid. The thing is, I don't know. All I know is it works.
Bill Belichick wouldn't be winning with Patrick Mahomes.
It worked in Kansas City. No, I don't think Bill Belichick would have had the vision for Patrick Mahomes.
You don't need vision for Patrick Mahomes.
You absolutely need vision. 5
sets of eyes.
You need vision.
Mahomes has enough vision for himself.
Oh my gosh! When you have a player like Patrick Mahomes, you absolutely need vision to use all of those tools the way Andy Reid does. Andy Reid's offense, we have seen, looks like no other offense we've ever seen in the NFL.
Year one, Mahomes wasn't throwing it through his legs. Come on. It took a little while to get there.
He threw 50 touchdowns.
But again,
and he was doing all of this stuff. Sometimes the fit matters. That's why players sometimes don't work.
Yeah.
And sometimes just a player isn't going to work in a certain place. We see this in Philly all the time. How many players come to Philly, don't work, move somewhere else, get better?
Luke, tell John Jansen we got to go to break.
Oh my gosh.
We got to go to break.
Thank you. Luke Arcadi's coming up next.
Program Director Luke.
Daily Ticket. Back after this.
Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
Major problem right now, the eastbound Schuylkill stop traffic City Avenue to Montgomery. That's where everyone's being forced to exit due to police activity. Westbound, it's crawling University to Montgomery with a gate delay. And the Vine Expressway westbound bumper to bumper 95 to the Schuylkill. Fire to tell total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Verizon. Ready to take control of your phone plan? Well, then you better take that next turn to a Verizon store. Because my plan from Verizon is the kind of control we all deserve. Get exactly what you want. Only pay for what you need. Get my plan at your Verizon store today.
Rita's Cold Brew Frozen Coffee is here, and we're freezing up the flavor for your next coffee fix. Sink your straw into the perfect pick-me-up. But hurry, frozen coffee is at Rita's for a limited time. Try it before it's gone.
Hey there, are you in the market for a new car? Look no further than the 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander and Outlander PHEV at CarVision Mitsubishi. With the Outlander, you'll enjoy a powerful and responsive driving experience, while the Outlander PHEV delivers unbeatable fuel efficiency. And don't forget about Mitsubishi's unbeatable warranty and excellent customer service. Mitsubishi, drive your ambition. At CarVision Mitsubishi, you won't be disappointed. Check out their inventory of over 700 new and used vehicles at CarVisionMitsubishi.com.
Stay tuned to Fox PHL The Gambler for the latest CEOs you should know.
My name is Roy Lightstein. I'm the CEO and president of Legacy Treatment Services.
Every day in business is a big day. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Did you know you can now build a low-maintenance deck using stone with Tanzite Stone Decking? Tanzite Stone does not use any plastic whatsoever. It is decking that's naturally durable, just like everything made with stone. Tanzite stone doesn't scratch at all. The color will never fade. It is not slippery, even when wet. And it stays cool in the sun. Since Tanzite decking is made of stone, it's virtually indestructible. That's why we guarantee it with a lifetime warranty. Discover how incredibly durable and beautiful a stone deck can be. Go to Tanzite.com. That's TANZITE.com. Online, you'll see how it easily installs over any regular wood deck structure, and you can order a sample to test it for yourself. Build a deck with the durability of stone at Tanzite.com. That's TANZITE.com.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, "My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver," unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
Isn't it nice to get exactly what you want? Introducing the new My Plan from Verizon. Control what goes into your phone plan and what stays out of it. And now, get the amazing iPhone 14 Pro on us when you switch with Select Trade-in and Unlimited Plus. Get iPhone 14 Pro with My Plan at your Verizon store today. It's your Verizon. $999.99 device payment or full retail purchase with new smartphone line required. $200 Verizon e-gift card sent within 8 weeks with port-in. Less up to $800 trade-in/promo credit applied over 36 months. 0% APR. Trade-in conditions and additional terms apply.
Hey, man, you all right? Need me to call 911? No. Call Top Dog Law. Get top dollar for your accident at TopDogLaw.com. Once again, that's TopDogLaw.com.
happy. Gang Green already given the moves after game one, and this one belongs to the Heat. 123-116.
Of course, that's how it sounded last night, courtesy of the Miami Heat radio network. Now, I am not saying that series is over, but, man,
it's over.
A hell of a start for Jimmy Butler and his supporting cast, whatever whack-a-mole you want to throw in there. It seems like they're hitting shots. And, of course, Bam down low. And I think the biggest takeaway for me is, as I've opened up this show, and we're not going to rehash it because we got Luke coming up here in just a second. We'll get on over to Major League Baseball. But the biggest thing for me is we're talking about growth of Joel Embiid year after year. Are you going to bet against him next year? If you are, then I'll take that money. I'll take the odds, and we'll go head-to-head because I think Joel Embiid's going to have a better season next year, right? And hopefully there's more success behind that as far as team success is concerned. I think getting the head coach in here is absolutely paramount. That's the number one deal breaker for the team's success. But again, it comes down to how do you fix this? And trading Joel Embiid is not the answer. It's just not. All right. From there, if you want to get involved in the conversation, once again on our socials at Fox PHL Gambler, at Fox PHL Gambler. Let's head out to the Gambler Hotline, and I believe he's already punched up and joining us right now. All things MLB and our Phillies go-to. It's the one and only Mr. Luke Arcani, representing the squad over at thelibertyline.com. Luke, how are we doing this afternoon, sir?
Doing good. How are you guys?
Doing all right, man. It'd be all right if the Phillies went out to San Francisco and played with a little bit more of that Jimmy Butler passion, dare I say. Maybe it's the Michelob Ultra as I pull up my timeline here, and Jimmy Butler's doing ads for Michelob Ultra. He's a big coffee guy and Michelob Ultra guy, so maybe that's what it is.
It's definitely not the Michelob Ultra.
Luke, let's talk a little bit about what we're seeing right now from the Phillies. And when it's bad, it's bad. Yesterday, Bryson Stott hit a home run. That was good to see. As far as starting pitching is concerned, we talked about Wheeler's outing. He gave up 9 hits in the outing. You want to see a little bit more. Again, it's May 19th, May 18th. No one's going too crazy here. They got a couple winnable games against the Cubs coming up here. I think there's another series before the Braves as well that's winnable as well. But what was your takeaway from the roller coaster ride that was with the West Coast trip for the Phillies?
Yeah, I mean, they just can't get any consistency going, which is really frustrating. They won 4 in a row back at the end of April. Then they dropped 6 in a row. Then they won 5 in a row, and now they're on a 4-game losing streak again. So it's just very inconsistent play. And it obviously starts with the offense. They're 2 for their last 40 with runners in scoring position. They seem to just not be able to get the big hit. It's really coming down to 2 guys right now. It's Trey Turner and Kyle Schwarber. They've both just been brutal. So obviously when you have 2 big stars like that, struggling, your offense isn't going to succeed as you want it to. But obviously it's not just on the offense. The starting pitching has not been good. Bailey Falter finally gets sent down to the minors. Just a complete 180 compared to what he's been, or at least what he was towards the end of the season last year. Zach Wheeler was I guess you could say good. He had that one bad inning. He kind of settled in after that a little bit, but he still wasn't Zach Wheeler. And then obviously Walker not even being able to get out of the first inning yesterday. Just not good. They need to get home, and obviously they do for the next 6 games back at the bank tomorrow night versus the Cubs for 3. Ranger Suarez is on the mound back at Citizens Bank for the first time this season. And then they have the Diamondbacks, who have been maybe a little bit of a surprise this year for a lot of people. They are 6 games over 500 right now, and they trail just the Dodgers in the NL West. But I don't know. It really just comes down to consistency, and I think it's sort of an all around thing right now. The pitching hasn't been good, the hitting hasn't been good. So there's not really one specific thing that I can pinpoint for it right now.
Yeah, and I think the offense, I know there's been a lot made about runners in scoring position, and that is certainly an issue. But look, they have a couple of guys that are struggling, and I think that issue isn't going to persist over time. The one that does seem like it is starting pitching. What options do they have? Is this just they have to find something at the trade deadline, be patient with Taijuan Walker? What are the options that you see that they have to maybe get things better, or what could possibly get better with the starting rotation?
Yeah, so I mean, they don't have a ton right now, and we know coming into the season after they lost Andrew Painter and obviously Suarez, we knew that they were going to be thin in the rotation, and I think they've been getting a lot more thin as of recent. Obviously, you lose Bailey Falter, who can't obviously be that huge of a loss. I mean, they've lost the last 7 games that he started, so you would think you can't get much worse, but then you look at the guys down in the minors and you say maybe it will get worse. They have Michael Plasmeyer and Christopher Sanchez, who were 2 names that were kind of fighting for that 5th spot. Both of them are over 6 ERA right now down in AAA. I don't know. I don't really know what route they go. They might try and do an every 5th day bullpen game. I know they don't want to put that on Matt Strahm again because they know his history of going throughout the season, and they know he can really only pitch a certain amount of innings. And obviously the team doesn't want to lose him early. I think you really just have to hope that Walker finds some sort of consistency, which has not been his thing. He's had some very good starts and he's had some very bad starts. Bottom line, it really just comes back down to your 2 aces pitching like aces. And I think right now they're obviously not pitching to the best of their ability, but we've seen signs of them getting back to what they've been. But you can say whatever you want about the bottom of the rotation, but it really comes down to the top being able to guarantee you at least 2 to 3 wins whenever you go back to that rotation.
What is it about runners in scoring position that they're struggling with? I get it as timely hits. I don't know if they could do something different, have a different plan of attack inside the batter's box or whatever. But this team clearly is struggling to just get that hit that they need in the crucial time. And I saw you putting out your tweets a little earlier. It was a great Phillies thread. They have 88 hits and over 300 at-bats with runners in scoring position so far this season. Have struck out 27% clip. Just historically bad. How bad exactly is that? And how can they improve with runners in scoring position? What else can they do besides like I said, the plan of attack that they've had since day one with this team?
Yeah, so it really says a lot about who is succeeding in the situations with runners in scoring position and who's not. Right now, your big leaders are Alec Boehm, Nick Castellanos, and Marsh, who this season have obviously hit the long ball here and there, but they've really been line drive hitters. And then you have the guys that are struggling: JT, Schwarber, Trey, even Harper since he's coming back. Harper's hitting 0.83 with runners in scoring position since he's coming back. And obviously when you hear those 4 guys, you think of the big power bats. And I think they're just trying to hit the ball out every time. And I think they obviously know that that's not what you need to do. You don't have to hit a home run every time there's a man on second. Just put the ball in play, put the ball out in the grass. And I think that's something that's really working for Alec Boehm and Nick Castellanos right now. Obviously, we know how good Nick Castellanos has been this year compared to last year. But I think it really just comes down to them not getting the big hit. And it obviously comes down to your $300 million shortstop, who's been pretty abysmal at the plate this year. It's almost like you go up there and he's in a big spot and you know he's going to strike out. And obviously that won't stay. I can promise everybody that's listening that won't stay. He will figure it out. He is Trey Turner for a reason. And I can't remember who tweeted it, but I'll have to pull it up, of the stats of the first 50 games as a Philly for Harper. I believe it was Harper, Castellanos, Schwarber, JT, and Trey. And Trey actually had the best stats out of the 5.
That's pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, because I feel like we've really talked about this a lot in the beginning of the year, and I know we said it a lot with Nick Castellanos last year. These guys just have trouble adapting. And I think when you get that huge contract and you have so much pressure on you and you're moving cities, whole new environment, I think they really just need to take some time to get used to it. Obviously, it's very frustrating because we want the Phillies to be consistently good. But that if you've been watching baseball for as long as we have, you know that can never be the case with them. So, yeah, I mean, I really just think it comes down to getting the big hit and just having the confidence knowing that they can.
Well, the Phillies will be taking on the Chicago Cubs tomorrow. Marcus Stroman going for the Cubbies, and the Phillies will be sending Ranger Suarez. I think Luke already mentioned that. Ranger is a minus 130 favorite. Stroman plus 110 on DraftKings Sportsbook. Total coming in at 8.5. Supposed to be a beautiful day tomorrow. A little rain on Saturday, from what I understand. Sunday's supposed to be beautiful as well. 7:05 first pitch tomorrow night at the Bank. All right, let's pick up on Trey Turner. And I know you kind of let us into, hey, he's going to be all right. But it is interesting to see some of the people that are pointing out the flaws, and whether it's the errors that he's making or striking out. And I want to be fair, he did have 2 hits last night or yesterday. I know he struck out with the bases loaded, but, he did have 2 hits. What are you seeing from Trey Turner? Is it more of a pressing? Is it what you just mentioned as far as he's got to get comfortable here? Is there anything different? Or are you going to go full Buck Showalter and blaming it on the WBC? Either way, I'm all right with it. But your thoughts on Trey Turner?
So I mean, the biggest thing that's standing out is his struggles against lefties, which has been the complete opposite in years past. He's always dominated lefty pitchers. And for some reason this season, he's just been very bad. I mean, 2021, he hit 392 against lefties. He hit 375 back in 2020. And this year he's down to 218 against left-handers. So it's going to sound weird, but it really comes down to right now, he's just swinging at the wrong pitches. And that sounds fixable, but sometimes it just really gets in these guys' head. His approach has been really bad. It's been a lot of swings and misses. A lot of what we saw from Nick Castellanos last year. He's doing a lot of chasing. He's not keeping up with fastballs. His splits against high velocity fastballs this year have been absolutely brutal. So I think it's really just, I don't know. He's just struggling. And I think we know baseball slumps happen. Obviously, this is a little bit more longer of a slump than we would hope from your big star shortstop. But I don't see, there's no reason for anybody to be out on someone 40 games into an 11.
No, I wouldn't suggest at all. What I would ask you, though, is on top of this, and I know that, look, we got some time here until we get to the trade deadline or anything along those lines. But I'm curious, as you know, the minor leagues for the Phillies, and look, the Mets, forgive me for the last name, is it Vientos? He hits a bomb. He was the big name coming up. They had another kid that did well for him as well. Is there anybody else in the farms that the Phillies could be looking at possibly to bring up here? Who's the next big name with some buzz, both as far as pitching is concerned and hitting, and then taking it to the trade deadline? If you had to assume that the Phillies will be buyers, which I think we're all on the same page, and again, it's way too early really to get into this conversation, what position do you think that they would be looking at number one? Is that a starting pitching? Is that a first baseman? How do you see that one playing out? So buzz for minor leagues, anybody there, and what do you expect as far as the trade deadline is concerned?
So yeah, I think obviously the two big things are going to be starting pitching and first base. It's tough. It's not, you don't see as good of a trade market with pitchers nowadays that you sort of used to in the past. A lot of pitchers tend to wait to free agency in the offseason, which does not help the Phillies in this favor. I've seen people throw around the name Lance Lynn.
No.
Wouldn't be my ideal signing. I don't think it would be John's either. But another name I've seen just makes me want to blow my brains out is Madison Bumgarner.
Oh, no. Lord.
I would rather have Lance Lynn than Bumgarner.
Get me Noah Syndergaard back. I'd rather get him.
Yeah, right.
Let's talk about it. Yeah, but I mean, when it comes to the minor leagues, the guys that they have succeeding aren't necessarily in the positions that you wish. There's a lot of outfielders that are hitting the ball well. Simone Muzzioti's hitting the crap out of the ball this year. Scott Kingery's been just very extremely below average again, which is unfortunate, but not much you can really look out there.
I thought this year was finally the year with him. That's a shame.
Yeah, man, I really did too. But yeah, I mean, really the only big name right now in AAA is Muzziotti. He's hitting 371 right now with a 906 OPS. He has 20 RBIs. Obviously, they don't really have holes in the outfield. They've sort of put their self into a bit of a situation we know last year where two of Schwarber, Castellanos, and Harper have to be in the corners every time. So we know that they don't really have a ton of room for an everyday corner outfielder to bring up. But yeah, I mean, anything really else with minor leagues is just continuing to wait for the status of Andrew Painter, which will really fill out the back of that rotation. I know he's been throwing on the ground a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think he's really stepped back onto a mound just yet. He might have been just for light toss. But he's just been doing a lot of work down on the grass, nothing really crazy on the mound. But I mean, the timeline on Painter still probably remains middle of July, I would say. I don't think there's been any crucial news to move that up yet.
Luke Arcani, are the Phillies going to bounce back at Citizens Bank Park over this weekend?
They do well at home.
Yeah,
2 of 3 against the Cubbies. 2 of 3 against the Cubbies.
2 or 3 against the Cubs, and I think they'll take 2 or 3 against the Diamondbacks. I would love a sweep against the Diamondbacks. But if they do have a better chance, I do think it's against the Cubs because they got off to a hot start, but they've been a little bit cold.
I need to get down to a game. Maybe next week I can do that.
Yeah,
Let's go tomorrow. Next week, tomorrow. Let's go.
Yeah,
Since the opening weekend.
All right,
Let's go to the Cubs game tomorrow, huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
Oh, actually, Buster is. How about that? He's blocking in. Luke Arcani, once again, thelibertyline.com. Can't thank you enough, sir. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll catch up, of course, after the Phillies take 2 of 3 against the Cubbies this weekend.
Yes, sir.
My man, there he is. Once again, Luke Arcani from thelibertyline.com. Matter of fact, walking in right now from Q102, the great Buster.
What's up, ladies?
What's up, dog?
Yeah.
And I believe you sent me a text. You said, dude, we're going down to Citizens Bank.
Yeah,
It's your birthday?
It's my birthday tomorrow. We're going to heckle the Cubs.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You know?
Is Philly Captain going up?
Captain's coming. Captain's coming. I know Dunphy's going to be in the building. Yeah. Our boy Drew at Liberty Line.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dump put out a tweet saying he wanted to start a $1,000 fantasy football league. And I was like, ooh, I like the sound of that.
Careful. He got me wrapped up in squares one time,
Did
man.
he?
He's taking all our money. Don't listen to Dunphy.
All right, so Phillies and Cubs tomorrow, standing room only. Just enjoy. It's supposed to be a beautiful night.
Yeah,
for
I
the
got
ball.
bleachers tickets.
Nice.
We're just, we're going to kick it.
Nice.
You know?
How was New York City? Look good.
Yeah.
Buster was sipping on tequila at like noon.
I was.
Yeah, the good.
That's not
tequila,
early
too.
enough.
Yeah.
What is that tequila with the thing at the top?
Plaza Azul, where you got the bell. Yeah.
It's a bell.
It's a bell on top of the bottle. So when you order at the club, the girls will bang it on the way.
Oh,
to
I
your
know.
little
Yeah, see, I'm not
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've been at the club.
Come on.
I don't do tequila, and I also don't go to clubs. So
Oh, I do tequila.
Really, Jansen?
I don't
You're
do-
not at the club?
I'll tell you.
I'm shocked.
I told my wife this already, and I'm.
what is that supposed to
yeah.
mean?
This summer, I plan on drinking more tequila, less beer, more tequila because my back is shot right now.
Yeah, tequila's less filling.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm getting off that booze. I'm gonna move it over to tequila. So it could be a really interesting summer.
I'm down.
Yeah,
Really
Let's
interesting
go.
summer.
what do they say? Hot girl
It's
summer.
gonna be hot boy summer.
It's a hot boy
It's
summer.
gonna be drunk.
Now is it
Sean
just
summer.
straight like tequila, or can I do like
Yes,
cocktails,
tequila.
like mixed drinks and
No.
stuff?
No, because that's where you get dangerous. That's where you start putting sugar in.
Yes,
it.
But
That
that's the
gets
only
you
way
your
I'll drink
hangover.
tequila.
tequila and club. Do people do that? No.
Not so much. But when it's good tequila, you don't need anything.
Correct.
Is there such thing as good tequila?
Yeah,
Oh, are you
bro.
kidding me?
There's
I
the
hate
bottle
tequila.
Yeah,
Wow.
but have you had like expensive tequila? Like,
No,
re-
I
Come
on.
Because I
Here's
can't drink like Patron straight. That's gross.
Okay. Oh.
What?
I can't.
What do you mean? That's disgusting.
Straight? That's gross. That's gross.
So what? This Bell tequila is
Yeah, it's like $150
All right.
a bottle.
look.
Oh,
Casamigos is
I don't drink that
Casamigos
kind of
is good.
stuff.
It's a $60 bottle. It's just
Yeah.
as expensive as Patron.
I could drink Casamigos Reposado.
Is there a good
I could
$15
drink that.
bottle?
No, I'm not going to argue with you because you are a tequila guy. So, and I am too. I shoot it. I take shots of tequila.
Right.
But I'm more of a beer guy. Corona, especially during summer, seltzers, all that.
Yeah.
But to me,
Yeah.
like I'm ready to just boom, shots of tequila.
Well,
And
with
water.
but with the good stuff, you sip it.
See, I can't do that.
Come
on, man.
on, bro.
Come on.
I'm gonna get you on the train.
Yeah, I got to sip tequila.
Tequila
Good
train.
grief. What's going on down there, man? What do you guys got going on these days? You're always
at
doing
the big
something.
Q102?
Yeah.
Yeah. Q102 Beach Tour. We're about to announce tomorrow. We're gonna announce all our kickoff location, Memorial Day weekend, baby.
Dude, have you ever seen anything so crazy when the Taylor Swift fans that didn't have tickets came down? They said 20,000 people were outside Lincoln Financial. Have you ever seen that before?
Never. Never. It's so funny. I was talking about the Taylor tour with a lot of people about how we had never seen this in our lifetime. Like, who's on that level? And honestly, I don't think. And again, I'm not saying Taylor Swift is Michael Jackson, but maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like, in terms of like
fanfare,
Drake's not getting that.
No, Drake's not getting.
You know what I mean?
Beyonce's not getting that.
Beyonce's not getting that. Beyonce's the most overrated artist of all time.
Oh wow!
Whoa!
Most overrated artist of
Dude,
all
you go
time.
see her live. Come on, man.
I've seen her live.
I know
Maybe,
you have, but it's something to be there.
I mean, I know.
Sure.
I know Bad Bunny's big. Bad Bunny had a huge stadium show.
Bad Bunny might bring like 10,000 outside the stadium.
I could see that.
I could see that too.
Especially if you're in Puerto Rico.
Yes, yes. You saw the WWE. Did you see Bad Bunny in
No.
WWE?
It's to a point. Now
one
he's
of the
an
one of the
agent?
craziest entrances I've ever seen.
Now he's an agent too.
Is he?
Is
can do
he what?
everything.
Yes. Somebody tweeted out that he's representing a baseball player now.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
and he can.
And he's with
the
Kendall
most
Jenner.
Fascinating guy
He
in the
is.
world. He needs
He
to be
is.
careful with them Jenners though. That Kardashian curse is real.
Yeah, it is real, but I would love
Ben
to.
Simmons still hasn't recovered.
I'd love
from
to.
it.
I would love to deal with that curse.
Neither
What?
did Chris Humphries.
Hello. Is this thing on?
Who?
Yeah, I could see Bad Bunny bringing 10,000 people out. Dude, that was
Because he did fill
insane.
up Lincoln Financial Field.
That
right?
was
I mean, he filled that up pretty
insane to see those videos of those and it reminded me of what hell would be like.
Yeah, bro.
They knew every word.
Yeah.
That was freaky. Look, I'm not that like you. I want you to be happy. Be happy. You Swifties, get your freak on.
It is terrifying though. It's like, have you ever seen those viral
It's
like
cult.
Vine
It's a
TikTok
cult.
videos of like the sororities and they're just
Yeah.
like
Oh, it's just like
it's
that.
just like that, but about 100,000 of them.
Yeah, but so I had tickets, right? Because like on some Q102, whatever, right? So I had tickets.
Okay.
And my girlfriend,
She went.
She came to me and was like, "Hey, my friend is offering me tickets. She wants me to go with her, but I figured you would want me to go with you." And I was like, "Please,
Yeah.
go with your friend. I promise."
How much you get for yours?
I gave him back.
Oh, look at you.
Gotta give him to the team.
Wow, a co-host that's giving. Wow.
I would have sold them in a heartbeat.
You would have
Jansen.
never given them to me. I know
damn
that
right.
for sure.
That's a beach vacation right
Usually,
there.
no. You would go to the Taylor Swift concert and make me work while you're there.
Yeah.
That's what you would do.
It is a car payment. But yeah, when she said that, I was like, please go with your friends. You guys can be all rabid Swifties, sing along to everything. Cause I'm with you. Like, it's not my thing. Do what you want.
Cool.
You guys take over the link for a
Yeah.
whole weekend.
They did.
They did.
I heard she did $3 million in merch in one night in Houston.
Bro, think about the money.
That is unbelievable.
And she's such a brand because she still is this. We view her as like this little vulnerable girl. Oh shucks,
I know,
can't
little
believe you
vulnerable
guys
girl
came to
from
my-
Reading. Yeah.
you came to my concert. Thank
She
you.
could run for president and win. I don't know if she's 36, but isn't that the requirement? 35, 36.
Something, yeah.
But I think she could absolutely do whatever she wanted. The fanfare that she has from city to city, coast to coast, is just something we've never seen before.
Yeah, but if she's president, if Taylor Swift is president, think about those State of the Union addresses. We'll have to hear about all her boyfriends.
Yes.
It'll be awful.
John Mayer's, man, he's gonna be down to like
I know
Gitmo.
who's the next poor soul here, isn't it?
It's this guy,
Matt Healy or
Matt
something.
Healy
Yeah.
from the 1975.
Oh, get out.
Yeah, but
I like the
but
1975.
it's all to me like, look, I'm a wrestling fan. I can smell this stuff a mile away. Everything's a work. She's going through this right now because she's with this guy because she's on tour. It's all a work.
We all know it's manufactured.
My
right?
wife,
Yeah.
my wife is 100% on that team. That it's all everything's fake in Hollywood. And I'll give you another one. Supposedly Kim Kardashian and Tom Brady are talking.
Yeah.
And she's like, of course you would think that's real. And I'm like, you don't think Brady hit up Kardashian? Like that's probably on his level, right?
Even if it's not real,
He needs to up his fame up. He doesn't just want to be a commentator now. He needs
It's
to up
true.
his fame up. You know.
But if you're Tom and you're going through a divorce, right?
Yeah.
Even if it's not true, even if there's no inkling of truth there, I'm letting that one dangle just to get back at my ex. Like, oh yeah, Kim called. Yeah, she called.
Kim better call, man. Damn right. It's Tom Brady. Come on, man.
Oh, but see,
Nah,
that's
Tom.
another Kardashian.
No.
curse.
Come on, Tom would have to be making that call.
Oh, he's not playing. Tom ain't
Not Kardashian.
Tom Brady is single-handedly the most eligible or the most what's the word, like successful bachelor we've ever seen in our lifetime.
Yeah,
So
I think you're overestimating old Tom.
To Jansen's point, if him and Kim are hooking up, who hit who up?
I think
It would have to be Tom.
I think Kim
It'd have
hit
to be
Tom up.
No, it'd have to be Tom.
Yeah.
No, you're
You don't
nuts.
think Tom
You're
was
nuts.
sipping a little tequila?
Right in right,
Hey, what's up, Kim?
right on the DMs.
As
Hey,
he's throwing the Super Bowl trophy off the boat.
Yeah.
And Kim,
right. Yeah, he does drink tequila. You're right. No, right in the DMs. Kardashian to Brady.
Yeah.
Something about
no way. I
big
think
fan
you're
of your work.
overestimating old
Just
Tommy.
a pick. Pow.
Tell you what, Bad Bunny though, he's doing it right.
That's right. All right, girls.
Great
I gotta hop
wrestler.
back at Q102. I'll see you guys at the Phils game.
You the man. There he is, Buster.
Looks like we're going to the
Buster
Phils game.
Q102. I was hoping to. That is tomorrow. And we're
You always flake out on stuff like that, so I don't expect you to.
well, Fridays are a little difficult for me,
Oh, I'm sure they are.
especially with the weather that we're
Fridays,
supposed to
you
be
mean
having.
the day that you golf all the time?
I can't
Yeah.
golf tomorrow.
Well, I know because of your shoulder or whatever.
Yeah, I'm screwed.
Yeah, whatever is
Screwed.
wrong with you.
Speaking of screwed, we are way over
Oh,
for
we
a
are.
break here. Yeah, let's do that. Quick timeout. Other side. We'll get on over to the MLB. I got to update this PGA Championship, what we have going on. Bryson DeChambeau out of nowhere. I'll explain that. Daily Ticket rolling on back.
Live life to the fullest. You hear that all the time, but it's easier said than done when you're in pain, right? QC Kinetics gives people all over Philly back their quality of life by providing much-needed relief for chronic joint pain. And not just providing that relief, but doing it in the most non-invasive way possible, using regenerative treatments from your body's own natural biologics. Where is your joint pain? In your knees, hips, shoulders, or back? Well, QC Kinetics concentrates these impactful treatments right at the source of your pain, directly applying healing properties where you need them the most. No surgery, no downtime, no steroids or harmful drugs, and patients are raving about the results. So what does living life to the fullest look like for you? Finally being able to play golf, walk your dog, enjoy time with your family, or just do your job without pain. Whatever it is, don't wait one more day. Call QC Kinetics for your complimentary consultation with locations around the Philly area. 215-999-3000. That's 215-999-3000. Call now. 215-999-3000.
CEOs you should know, brought to you by Comcast Business.
Roy Lightstein, CEO and president of Legacy Treatment Services. Legacy Treatment Services' mission is to change the behavioral health and social service outcomes for people of all ages from surviving to thrive. Legacy Treatment Services provides an array of more than 70 different programs and services to help individuals that have challenges with regard to mental health, addiction treatment, or perhaps that have an intellectual and developmental disability. Individuals in this field often have a calling. When I was growing up, I was the victim of abuse and neglect. I joined the Army and started my career in social services volunteering. I became very close with the young man that I was working with. Nonverbal, had a brain dysfunction. And so I had this sort of aha moment at that time that said, if I could help kids that maybe were struggling or had any challenges like I had, I wanted to commit my career towards helping that. The advice that I would give myself at age 15 is perspective. The sun comes up, the sun goes down, and when we're in those moments, stressing about your grade, your social relationship, I just wish I could look back to me at 15 and say, this is just today, and you can have a significant impact on what tomorrow's going to look like. We invite folks to just head to our website, legacytreatment.org, and you can reach somebody at any time of the day or night.
This episode is brought to you by Comcast Business. Every day in business is a big day. Comcast Business will keep you ready for what's next. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Hey there, are you in the market for a new car? Look no further than the 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander and Outlander PHEV at CarVision Mitsubishi. With the Outlander, you'll enjoy a powerful and responsive driving experience, while the Outlander PHEV delivers unbeatable fuel efficiency. And don't forget about Mitsubishi's unbeatable warranty and excellent customer service. Mitsubishi, drive your ambition. At CarVision Mitsubishi, you won't be disappointed. Check out their inventory of over 700 new and used vehicles at carvisionmitsubishi.com.
Welcome to What If, the show where I, Jake from State Farm, answer your insurance what ifs. Today's caller is Gio. What's up?
Hey, Jake, what if I'm shopping for a new policy, but there are so many options that I freeze up and just can't choose?
It's okay. An agent can help you choose the right coverage. At State Farm, we're there for your what ifs.
Oh, now what if I need help deciding on dinner?
Tacos.
Good idea.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com for a quote today.
At the American Lung Association, we're fighting for a day when we can all breathe easier. We're fighting for clear skies over every city and healthy lungs throughout the country. We're fighting to free millions of Americans from the addictive grip of tobacco and the devastating effects of lung disease. The American Lung Association isn't just fighting for air, we're fighting for all the things that make it worth breathing, and we can use your help. See what you can do at fightingforair.org.
Kickstart your imagination with Audible. Hear celebrity and music memoirs, mysteries, true crime, and more. Audible is the home of storytelling. Audiobooks, podcasts, and originals. Sign up for a free trial at audible.com.
This is Super Bowl champion Alfred Williams. Here's what's trending on the iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by Mercedes-Benz.
Eagles wideout A.J. Brown believes the team is off the mat after their disappointing Super Bowl 57 loss. He said this week they're built for the long run. The Phillies, they're back home from their Western road swing, and they're hoping to perform better against the Cubbies. They play them starting tomorrow night. And first-round play continues this afternoon at the PGA Championship in New York. The start of the round was delayed for an hour, though, by frost on the Oak Hill course. I'm Scott Davidson.
Intelligence runs in the family. Innovation runs in the family. Extraordinary runs in the family. The Mercedes-Benz range of SUVs. Every member is waiting to impress. Learn more at MBUSA.com.
Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
Off to a busy start for the Thursday drive home. Traffic crawling on the eastbound Schuylkill City Avenue past Montgomery Drive. There's police activity on the shoulder. Earlier, the entire roadway had been shut down. That's why the delay is so bad. Westbound Jan University Montgomery Drive and Boulevard to Belmont. The Vine Expressway westbound crawling 95 to the Schuylkill. 95 northbound, stop and go for the Vine Expressway up to Bridge, southbound Heavy Copman Bridge, and Ridley Park to the Blue Route. 295 southbound, that's crawling 42 to 47 with a crash. All right, to tell a total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's Strawberry Frosty. Hey, you! Run to Wendy's and grab a Strawberry Frosty. Don't worry about canceled plans. It's worth it, but act fast. Like your date. It's gone at the end of the summer. Head to Wendy's for a Strawberry Frosty and that sweet strawberry goodness. Limited time only at participating Wendy's.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Ricardo, quote, "This is one of the greatest inventions ever. I know this may sound like I'm exaggerating, but this sucker is amazing. The first time I did it, I couldn't believe what came out of my sinuses. I could breathe with ease. My wife just bought one too. Thank you for this product," unquote. He's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
I didn't think I could be any more excited for summer until my friend told me Kohl's has the lowest prices of the season. I went and got my whole family cute swimsuits for under $20 each, luggage for up to 60% off, and an anti-gravity chair for the patio under $50. So watch out, summer. We're ready for you. Thanks to Kohl's. Select styles. Offers end May 21st. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Hey, doctor, not a real customer. Quote based on a healthy, non-smoking 44-year-old male with a 20-year term policy. Rates may vary.
Welcome to Ethos, a new kind of insurance company that believes life insurance should be hassle-free, affordable, and accessible for everyone.
For around $1 a day, I got a 20-year, $250,000 term life insurance policy without a medical exam. All I had to do was answer a few health questions and snap, family protected. It was quick and easy. Ethos is 100% online. I got a quote in seconds, applied in minutes, and got coverage in hours. Just answer a few health questions. No medical exam, no blood tests, no hassle. Look, nobody wants to plan for the unthinkable, but it would be so much worse to not plan at all. So don't put it off. It feels great having the peace of mind knowing that my family is protected.
Ethos, the 100% online hassle-free way to get affordable life insurance. Don't wait. Get your free online quote now at ethoslife.com. That's ethoslife.com.
Your home for Villanova basketball is WDAS and WD273D, Fox Sports Radio, Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, little
My band.
What's this new band I heard, man? It's Tears for Fears.
I don't know why I'm so into Tears for Fears right now, but they're a vibe. They're a vibe, man.
I mean, what 80s song is not a vibe? You know, like 80s music is a vibe.
But even Tears for Fears' new album, I've been listening to probably more than. I think it just came out last year.
Take it easy.
It's a vibe.
Take it easy.
It's great.
New music from Tears for Fears.
Yes, it was a good album.
Dude, Tears for Fears have
The
been around
Tipping
for
Point.
40 years.
I know, and it's really good. Shout's great. This song, God's Mistake, I'm a big fan of.
Speaking
Mad
of
World.
being around for 40 years, Phil Mickelson has been around for about that time, and he's hitting it well so far. He is even. I threw a couple holes. I'm sorry, they just flashed him up. Leader right now, though, PGA Championship. Bryson DeChambeau through 17. Bryson DeChambeau. He's a pretty good golfer.
Is he?
He's on the Live Tour. I don't know if you ever heard that.
Why don't I see him on the PGA leaderboard?
Yeah, exactly. So Bryson is 4 under through 17, and Scotty Scheffler was the leader in the clubhouse, 3 under, 67 on the day. Tied with Connors as well. Vitor Hovland was 2 under or 2 under on the day, shot a 68. Again, a lot of late golfers. A lot of there was a frost. Not a frost warning. What's the word I'm looking for? There was a frost, just a delay because of frost on the ground. It was a little chilly last night, especially here too as well. Up there in Rochester, even colder. But there was frost, so had a little bit of a delay getting everything off. And I believe Dustin Johnson just teed off. Patrick Cantlay just teed off. I think Phil actually just teed off recently, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So. But again, this is what it's all about. Day 1, round 1, PGA Championship, second major on the year. A lot to play for, and
It's a pretty good leaderboard right there.
Yeah, great leaderboard. A lot of star power. And look, this course is so difficult just because if you back a golfer, as long as it's not leader after 1, then I think you have a shot no matter what, right? This course is really difficult, playing extremely hard, and these numbers will tell you. I mean, it's Scotty Scheffler. Nobody's hotter than him on the tour. Maybe Tony Finau, but Scotty Scheffler, pound for pound, the best golfer on the tour, in my opinion, and he shot 3 under. So that tells you kind of where we're going to be throughout the course of this tournament. Interesting, as we are watching live right now, Jason Day, who won last week. And if you remember, Jason Day, it was a question that we had on yesterday's show for Patrick McDonald, where I asked him, is it a big deal that Jason Day said, you know what, I haven't played a single hole and I'm not going to do so before his first round? Well, he's 5 over on the day. So not exactly the tournament that Jason
Seems like
Day
it's
thought.
working out
Yeah,
very well.
That's not what you would think would be your approach here. But again, a lot of golf to be played. So maybe he'll be able to bring it back and close up shop with some better, as he just hooks it into the rough. Yeah. My guess would be if he could do it all over again, he probably would play a warm-up round or 2 if he could. Anyways, I wanted to bring this up. Keep moving here on the Daily Ticket. You got Sean Brace, John Jansen. Last night, of course, we had the big game 1, Boston and the Miami Heat. And the Miami Heat went on the road and shocked the Boston Celtics. And yes, that was a shocking result, as they were 8.5-point dogs, and they went up there and won outright last night. But in the second half, and I think more so in the fourth quarter, is when I really started seeing it on my timeline. YouTube TV is what we have here in the studio.
That's what I have at home.
And I have been a huge fan of YouTube TV from day 1. I've told anybody that's told me I'm cutting the cord, I said, YouTube TV, that's all you need to see. Since then, they've raised the price, I think, $20, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So last night, did you have this issue?
Yep. I did not watch any of the fourth quarter.
Wow. So when you went to the TNT channel, what did it show?
So it kept going and replaying the same sequence over and over again. And then it would just load and buffer, and then it would just replay again. I went back out of it. I turned the TV off. I did everything. And it just kept playing the same thing over and over.
No way.
I remember it was coming out of a timeout. They were talking about the Celtics and their adjustments against the Sixers or something like that. And it was Van Gundy and Miller talking about it. And that's it.
Well, it's got an alarm, right? The alarm's got to be going off for everybody. because we know what's
By the
coming.
way, that's the first time it's ever happened.
Understood. But I'm bringing it to, of course, the world of the NFL. And what we went through with Amazon, right, where there was buffering, there was, the mouth was off, like almost, Japanese films or whatever, Chinese, whatever those films are where, they do. Well, let me tell you, and the mouth would still be going, I just.
No, you mean the dubs?
The dubs?
What are you talking about with that?
The films?
Yeah.
Like martial art movies that would feature Bruce Lee and even other ones, like when they would talk. Yeah, the dubs. They would be put in the English.
Yeah,
yes,
okay,
exactly.
that's what you mean.
Yeah. No, not Gold State Warriors.
No, is that what you thought?
I'm here to fight. I want to take you down, and the mouth would still be going.
Yeah,
right?
because they're not speaking English.
Correct. Okay. Yeah. Well, nice work by you on that one. Anyways, my point is, now they just announced 2 days ago, the NFL, that they plan on streaming a playoff game on Peacock, which God only knows how much Peacock is spending for that. But
it's so much money.
Like in a world of Roger Goodell can do no wrong because the NFL controls all, it's a little risky, isn't it? A little bit risky. Could you imagine the Philadelphia Eagles playing Wild Card Weekend on Peacock?
So I would say risky,
and
right.
we can't watch the fourth quarter.
So risky in the short term, but long term, I mean, this is where everything's going, right?
I've been hearing that for years.
I know, but you just even said you're cutting the cord for YouTube TV.
I think I'm cutting the cord right now. Believe it or not, I think this month. But I've been telling you, I've been cutting.
But so the YouTube TV comes up, and everybody's, I hope this doesn't happen during the NFL season when YouTube TV has Sunday Ticket and everybody can't watch it.
The NFL season, it better not happen tonight.
But am I also not mistaken that didn't Xfinity go out during the Super Bowl?
I think there were some issues there because some guy cut the line. A guy actually broke in and cut the line.
There's always something that's going to happen every once in a while. It's not like every single time I just put on cable television or Xfinity or whatever cable company you have, wherever you are, and it's just 100% guaranteed going to work. There's always something that comes up. Always.
Yeah, Justin.
Not as often. I'm not saying it happens all the time, but yeah, it's going to come up.
Justin checking in. He says, sure did. After the game, I figured I'd catch highlights on ESPN only to find ESPN continually buffering as TNT did. Did you have those issues?
Yes, I could not even, because I tried to watch ESPN and I couldn't watch ESPN.
I'll tell you what.
I think it stayed for almost the entire night. I can't remember when it.
So you would probably be the wrong guy to ask this question.
Why am I the wrong guy?
You didn't get an opportunity to watch the game last night, but as much as I love Shaq and Kenny and Ernie and Chuck, and we know what makes that show so good is the not giving a what, right? They're in the studio, they just do what they do. Are you fun? Keep it moving.
Yeah,
whatever.
very free flowing, comfortable conversation.
When you take them out of the studio and put them in the arena, and all of a sudden the seriousness has to be there to a point, it loses a lib.
Are you talking post game or pregame?
Post game.
Okay. Because pregame they were talking a lot about John Moran.
These post game shows aren't very good. Like the ESPN post game show. Come on, man.
Anything NBA ESPN is the worst.
Stephen A. Like I
terrible.
I terrible.
I get it. Terrible.
But
it's
come
bad.
on.
And especially during the halftime show where you get maybe a minute of analysis and then they go to commercial break.
And you got
right away.
Tim Legler on your bench.
Tim Legler has to be, because that's the first guy I honestly, because he was on last night.
Jalen's got to go. Where was he on last night?
He was on SportsCenter.
Well, SportsCenter is different than the post-game show.
Oh, no, but that's what I mean. Like it was a better post-game show, but it wasn't even the game that was the post-game show. I wasn't even on that network.
Was it Van Pelt or was it just a SportsCenter?
It was. I'm pretty sure it was just LA SportsCenter.
Okay, yeah, legs. Jalen, I love Jalen Rose. He's got to go. You got to replace Jalen Rose with Tim Legler. Like, is it wrong to believe that there are more people out there that want to learn something, to
They want to understand how a team lost or won a game. Yeah. Why wasn't Jason Tatum shooting? Why was Miami hitting all of their shots?
Instead,
I would love
Stephen A. goes to his lazy, boring, I'm the Knicks guy, and let me tell you how mad I am. And then, you could always...
I don't even want to just boil it down to lazy or boring, because you're right. I'm kind of bored with it.
Oh, that's lazy.
I get it.
No, Cowboy,
I get it. But I don't want...
The Cowboy hate and the Knicks...
I don't want my post-game show to turn into First Take or Get Up. I want my post-game show to be analysis-driven.
Well, see, I don't have an issue with Greeny. I don't. I think Greeny drives a good show.
He's all right.
I think he drives a decent show. But he does what his job is. He steers the ship. But I need X's and O's.
But that's what I have there, because
Wilbon
he does that. He
way
feeds
past his time. Wilbon, come on, man. Go. Wilbon doesn't need to be on there. The problem is it's Stephen A's show. So Stephen A picked his guys. That's the issue. Wilbon, Stephen A's guy, all good. And Jalen Rose is Stephen A's guy. Forget what the tweets tell you. Stephen A picked this team.
Well, I mean, if you want to go by the tweets are also saying that they do appreciate Tim Legler's analysis. It does have a place in the
on
NBA.
The postgame.
I think he does. I think Tim Legler is the best analyst that they have for NBA.
And dare I say, I'd even roll Reddick out there too.
I've had enough of Reddick.
Just telling you right now.
I've already had enough.
Legler and JJ Reddick.
I'll put Pat McAfee on it. Why not? Whoa, you laugh. Why not? Just put him on everything.
It's his world.
It's his world. ESPN's paying him a bunch of money now. Do whatever you want.
Yeah, I'm a little he's entertaining. I like McAfee. Football season, he's awesome. College game day, it's incredible. But there's a little
college game day's always been great.
There's a little too much McAfee these days.
Oh, finally.
Yeah, there's a little too much.
Thank
McAfee.
God I'm not the only one.
He's a
finally you got there.
Little too much McAfee, and I don't even watch wrestling.
Thank God he's been off wrestling.
Thank God. I thought he was good.
So when he first, I don't know, I'm not. I hate to say, I don't want to be a McAfee hater because I don't think
you have. I don't, and I think Pat would tell you that there's too much of him out there.
It's just, I don't know. It's not my cup of tea.
Like Stephen A. does a pregame, a show during the game. He doesn't stop. At some point, somebody has to say, guys, I think there's just a little too much Stephen A. here.
Well, and Stephen A. does the same thing. It's constantly the same show over and over again. It's not like Stephen A. can turn himself back into basketball reporter. He's way past that. He's now the opinionist, loud, entertaining first take guy.
Yes.
And that doesn't just change whenever he moves to a different show.
To my point is, and we'll wrap it up on this. I just think when we watch a postseason game, the Eastern Conference Finals or the Western Conference Finals, I want to know more about the game.
I think TNT does a good job with that. Obviously, they have their fun, but Kenny Smith, when they go to the border lot with Kenny Smith,
but they're not. Last night they were at the studio or at the.
Well, yeah, you obviously limit yourself so you don't. But I'm sure they did some type of analysis
there. Don't take them out of the studio. Keep them in Atlanta.
But you gotta.
Well, then you know
wave
what you
around
do?
hey, we got access, baby.
Oh, you could do access. They got 50 people on their roster. Put 2 people in there. They got people on the sideline. Allow the sideline reporter to get some shine. Just keep them in the studio because that's where they're best. But even now, even more so, I'll tell you this. Like, I don't know if I want them in a big moment. Like, I want more from the game, more in-depth analysis, what the corrections will be for not those guys just throw things up against the wall and it's like, well, this is what I'm telling you is going to happen. I told you. And if somebody gets one prediction right, you're going to hear about that for the next 30 minutes.
Or we have 1,000,001 John Morant conversations and not actually talk about the game.
I didn't have anything on
my God. The pregame was just,
yeah, he was all upset because of JJ Redick had his back.
It was excessive.
Everything's excessive.
It is. You're right. It is.
I mean, Ja's got nobody to blame but himself.
I think, but like we said our piece when it happened, and we just leave it at that.
Well, I think from the
commission, we have to rehash it over and over again because it's got to be the one in the zeitgeist. It's the biggest story. We got to keep talking about it.
Yeah. Do you think John Morant could get traded to Philly?
Come on, man.
Would you give up Joel Embiid for John Morant?
Come on, man.
Joking. I would not. Would you? Straight up.
I mean, their availability is in question, but for different things. Nah, come on. You're not doing that.
Is there anybody
Memphis wouldn't do that.
Is there any player out there that you would give Joel Embiid up straight up for?
Jokic.
Wow.
I think I'm there. Embiid had a better year. Embiid had a better year. Embiid had a better year. But this is a nuts postseason. This is a nuts postseason.
You just said you would take Joker over Joel Embiid straight up. I'm down. I don't know if I can get up.
I think I've converted.
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get up after that one.
I think I've converted to the religion of Jokic.
Jeez. All right, we'll do this. We'll hit on the West.
I mean, have you been watching him?
I watched him all season long, John.
But his
Jansen.
numbers. So
he's averaging 30,
right, his
13,
numbers
and 10.
are much better than they were during the regular season. I think at any point of even when he's playing the playoffs
100%.
previously, like he's getting hot at the right time. So there is a part of that as well. But it's impressive. And Embiid hasn't done that yet. But the thing is, Embiid could. So I actually looked up, by the way, Giannis didn't win his first title until he was 8 seasons in.
Okay. Well, if he played in Philadelphia, he'd be ready to be traded.
Embiid, because he was hurt, didn't start playing until 2016. So obviously he's older than when Giannis won his first title, but Embiid is going in his what season?
Embiid's going into what season? He's 29. He's played 6 years total. 2016.
This was his 7th season.
7th season? All right.
What if after the 6th, 7th season, Milwaukee said, yeah, Giannis, not working out, man. Just we're getting bounced out in the first round. We're getting bounced out in the first round.
That's what you have to bring to the table. I saw someone bring up Dirk. Dirk didn't win his title until he was 32.
You don't move on to guys that are at that upper echelon.
He's a superstar.
Because the moment you trade them, the moment you just give up on something that has you that close, because at any point it could happen. Not saying it ever will. I don't know if it ever will. But you got to be close enough to be able to do it eventually.
Sixers win the NBA championship next year. All right, here's what we got. 5 o'clock. We got.
By the way, I don't know if anybody knew you were on the floor, and I said Jokic.
Yeah,
you did not.
I know. Look, this is.
What was that reaction for though? Was it my nuts or is it?
No,
just that we're finally at that point now that we can admit it.
I'm not admitting it.
Okay.
I'm not saying I would give up Joel for Joker. Straight up, like everybody's handing Joker the title.
I mean, it's not like I'm saying. I mean, Embiid's a fantastic player.
Everybody's handing Joker the title after.
Oh, he still has to win the title for sure.
After one game against the Lakers,
it was a damn good game. He played a great game, but also Davis did.
Let's talk about that on the other side because I think this could be a special alt line game 2. All right. Explosive, dare I say, across the board. Why not? Let's keep it moving. Daily Ticket on the other side. We'll hit on Western Conference Finals Game 2 at 5 o'clock. For all you Jimmy Butler revisionist history nuts out there, we're going to get the actual facts from what took place when Jimmy Butler wore the Sixers uniform for a half a season and then decided to go to Miami. For all you people that just want to continue making up history as if it was the facts, the truth of the matter, I'm sorry. You're going to have to tune in at 5 o'clock. And I'm going to tell Gerald that I'm going to clip it and put it on social media. And anytime from here on out that somebody brings up Jimmy Butler and the Sixers, I'm going to say,
have it.
Here you go. This is how it played out.
I've heard a million different versions.
It's unbelievable. I mean, was he upset about Franklin the dog now too? It's the Daily Ticket.
I would be. Yeah.
Western Conference Finals Game 2 on the other side. Back after that.
Stop by Rita's today and try the new cold brew frozen coffee. Be cool. Go to Rita's. Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
Things are still pretty packed on the Schuylkill Expressway eastbound from City Avenue down to Girard from earlier police activity. Westbound Jan University out to Montgomery Drive and Boulevard to Belmont. The Vine Expressway westbound crawling 95 to the Schuylkill merge. 95 northbound Sepulveda Vine Expressway up the bridge, southbound heavy Cottman Bridge, and 420 to the Commodore Barry. Watch for a crash in Abington, Eastmoreland Road near Davisville Road, and one in Lower Providence at Eagleville Road and Park Avenue. Larry Tratella, total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's Strawberry Frosty. Hey, you! Run to Wendy's and grab a Strawberry Frosty. Don't worry about canceled plans. It's worth it, but act fast. Like your date, it's gone at the end of the summer. Head to Wendy's for a Strawberry Frosty and that sweet strawberry goodness. Limited time only at participating Wendy's.
You don't need to get personal, like revealing orange juice commercials make you cry. To get the State Farm personal price plan, just call or go to statefarm.com for a quote. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Stay tuned to Fox PHL The Gambler for the latest CEOs you should know.
My name is Roy Lightstein. I'm the CEO and president of Legacy Treatment Services.
Every day in business is a big day. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
In a new series from the teams at Novel and iHeartRadio, this is the Fighty Pucks. We're going out on the ice with the most violent hockey team ever.
That was guerrilla warfare at its highest.
Were they heroes or villains? You decide.
You and I are going to have a problem. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Welcome to the jungle.
Listen to the Fighty Pucks on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Did you know you can now build a low-maintenance deck using stone with Tanzite Stone Decking? Tanzite Stone does not use any plastic whatsoever. It is decking that's naturally durable, just like everything made with stone. Tanzite Stone doesn't scratch at all. The color will never fade. It is not slippery, even when wet, and it stays cool in the sun. Since Tanzite decking is made of stone, it's virtually indestructible. That's why we guarantee it with a lifetime warranty. Discover how incredibly durable and beautiful a stone deck can be. Go to Tanzite.com. That's TANZITE.com. Online, you'll see how it easily installs over any regular wood deck structure, and you can order a sample to test it for yourself. Build a deck with the durability of stone at Tanzite.com. That's TANZITE.com.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Ricardo, quote, "This is one of the greatest inventions ever. I know this may sound like I'm exaggerating, but this sucker is amazing. The first time I did it, I couldn't believe what came out of my sinuses. I could breathe with ease. My wife just bought one too. Thank you for this product," unquote. He's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
I didn't think I could be any more excited for summer until my friend told me Kohl's has the lowest prices of the season. I went and got my whole family cute swimsuits for under $20 each, luggage for up to 60% off, and an anti-gravity chair for the patio under $50. So watch out, summer. We're ready for you. Thanks to Kohl's. Select styles. Offers end May 21st. Some exclusions apply. See store or kohls.com for details.
Hey, man, you all right? Need me to call 911? No, call Top Dog Law. Get top dollar for your accident at topdoglaw.com. Once again, that's topdoglaw.com.
Trucking, got my chips cashed in, keep trucking. Like the two-dog man together, more or less in line, just keep trucking on.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Dead and Company, the final tour, kicking off tomorrow in L.A. We'll be in Philly in June. Is it the 17th? It's 15th, June 15th. Let's go. Jansen might actually make an appearance with me. How about that? Turn your mic on.
Oh, me turn my mic on?
What, I do it?
You're the one right there.
You don't have an on-off button?
But I got to get through my laptop.
All right, sorry. Bad job.
I mean,
anyways,
board operator, can we please just put the mics on?
Dead and Company opening things up tomorrow.
I might go. Who knows?
It's exciting. And, man, I found a website the other day, which is bad job by me, that has literally every Dead show from 65 and on. And I was playing some tunes last night and just visualizing what it would be like to be out there with all those Deadheads in 1972, 1966, Woodstock. Like, Dude, this band has seen a thing or two, if you know what I mean. And I can't wait. I can't wait for the show at Citizens Bank Park. It's just a good time to be out there and just let loose. And of course,
Concerts at the bank are fun.
I
It's a
love
good time.
concerts, period, man. There's some really good shows coming.
I will admit, because I listen to bad music, so I don't usually go to stadium shows. And I don't like stadium shows. At least I had fun at Elton
No,
John.
I'm
So
not a fan of
Citizens Bank wasn't too bad.
I'll tell you right now.
I would never go to one at Lincoln Financial Field.
We
I would
have,
never go to one.
well, depends, because I've
Never.
seen multiple shows at Lincoln Financial Field.
Never.
I would tell you, why they keep showing this guy right here?
He's vibing.
Yeah, he is vibing.
Is that a Rice Krispie treat?
That looks like a Rice Krispie treat. Good eyes on
I haven't
him.
had one in a long time.
Chewing like a horse, bro. Close your mouth. Anyways, so the Man is the best venue in Philadelphia. I would put the Man as like
I haven't been
one
to
of
the Man yet, but I've been to the
You've never
Freedom
seen
Mortgage.
a show at the Man?
No, I've been to the Freedom
dude.
Mortgage though.
So many good shows.
But isn't
coming
that the
up
same thing? Like just a lawn with like a little stadium seating or whatever seating in front. Sort of the same setup.
Well, first of all, it's smaller. One, two is the lawn is the lawn. So I understand your point. Lawn is just a bad seat to have if you care about the band, right? If you just want to jam out, lawn is much better at the Man than it is at the Tweeter Center, at the Freedom Mortgage Center, at the whatever the hell it is being named these days. So to me, the Man is just, it's the best because it's in Philly. You don't have to go to Camden. It's in the woods. It's in Fairmount Park. The tailgating is better. And if you do get a seat, obviously the seating is much better and tighter and smaller. It's just a much better spot for a show. So shout out to 104.5, our sister station. They got a couple great shows coming up here. I was on a phone call a little earlier today with program director Amber Miller, doing a great job over there.
Yeah, I love venues that are like 3,000 to 5,000 people, like the smaller, like Electric Factory type thing. It's better.
And Electric Factory is not even the name of it either.
No, I forget what it's called. I was literally just there a few months ago. I can't even remember.
The Man Center attendance, or what's the word I'm looking
That's got to be close to what? 10, 7, 10?
I don't think it's that many. Not 10. How do I Man Center, not seating, but occupancy. There you go. I can't even spell occupancy. 8,600.
Okay.
The venue has a total seat. Oh no, excuse me, 14,000. What? The venue has a total seating capacity of approximately 14,000 with 4,700 seats under the roof and 8,600 outside. All right, so you can fit
Because the lawn, you can fit
you
a
can
ton
fit a ton of people. All right, well, I didn't think it was that big.
It's the same thing with the Freedom Mortgage.
Oh yeah, well, I would say even more than that.
That's big, right? Yeah. You could fit probably 20,000 in there. I would say.
Gotta be.
I think you could.
All right, let's get on over to the Western.
Yeah, but see, I'm the smaller venues. I'm 3,000 to 5,000. It's general admission. You just walk in, go wherever you want, do whatever you want. It's great.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
I like that. All right, Western
Mosh
Conference
pit.
Finals, Game 2.
3 seconds left to go in Denver. There's the horn. Ball Arena crowd to its feet. The Denver Nuggets take game number 1 of the Western Conference Finals behind another triple-double from Nikola Jokic. The final tonight from Denver, 132 to 126.
And Game 2 tonight, this evening, 8:30 p.m. and Denver a 5.5 point favorite at home against the LA Lakers. They were a monster favorite in that Game 1. Here we are tonight, where I expect the Lakers to have a much better game. What did that number go off at? What, 6.5? Was that the number it went off at tip?
I can't remember exactly.
I think it was 6.5, 7.5, something like that. Oh, no. Excuse me. Because they won by 6. That was a push. It went off. Some people got 6.5. Some people got 5.5.
I think that is correct.
That's the number. So 6 point was the margin of victory. And I saw a lot of people push, and a lot of people were upset that they didn't get their bets in early. As far as tonight's game is concerned, I do expect LeBron James to have a big game. And to me, if you didn't pay attention to yesterday's show, I'm not backing off it. The best player on the floor is LeBron James. If you need a bucket, you're not going to Joker. You're not going to Anthony Davis. You're not going to Jamal Murray. You are going to LeBron James. LeBron James, you're not going to him. He's taking the ball. And he's going to score because he is still that gifted. the athleticism in year 20 is just, it's mind-boggling. And Dame took to Twitter yesterday or 2 nights ago and was like talking about the Wembanyama. Did I get it right?
No.
Victor Wembanyama.
Wembanyama. Wembanyama.
Bun B?
It's not like ban or any, but it's Wembanyama.
Well, he even came out and he said, look.
Sounds like you're going bin. Wembanyama. I don't think it's bin.
Okay. So Dame comes out and was like, this dude's been doing it for 20 years and nobody had anything as far as the buzz is concerned from like LeBron did when he came out. So
it's 100% fact.
It is. Yeah, totally correct. Now it would
that because Wembanyama is a national player.
Correct.
So
if he was doing this, if he was doing this from a high school in
Texas,
be
right. It could be very
or
close.
the IMG Academy down there in Orlando, Florida. I believe that's where they're at. Then I think that the buzz would be tenfold, and maybe it would be higher than LeBron James. But there was nothing bigger than LeBron.
Nope.
When he was coming out, and they covered that was like the first guy that I really saw high school games being covered on a consistent basis.
There's not that many guys that are hyped up like that ever end up working out the way he has.
No, that's
true. I mean, he has come through in every single. I mean, he has lived up to all of that, and probably even more than that.
Yeah, no, he's lived up more than that. Remember, LeBron had to cover his tattoos up with the white things because they couldn't play with them.
Mm-hmm. Much different world then.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, tonight, 5.5, right back at it. 226.5 is your total. If I made you pick a side here, where you going?
I'd probably end up going back to Denver because I think the Lakers already tried a few different looks against Jokic and couldn't find an answer for it. And if Jokic is going to continue to play like this, no matter what they throw at him, he's just going to, because I thought they guarded him well, right? I think in the second half, Davis was in his face. He just kept making these circus shots. So as long as he's just going to stay hot like that, I don't know if there is going to be an answer to stop him. And of course, the rest of the team. Now, Aaron Gordon has to step up because it looks like they were pretty much just letting Gordon roam around wherever he wants, almost like the PJ Tucker thing with the Sixers and Celtics. So Gordon does have to step up, and maybe if he doesn't, then Denver doesn't score as much because obviously who knows if Jokic is going to put up the same type of numbers that he did. But so far, he looks like the best player in the playoffs. He's played like the best player in the playoffs, and I don't see that stopping, at least at home, too. So I think Denver takes a 2-0 lead, and we'll see if the Lakers are able to keep home court. But I'm going Denver.
I'm going Lakers tonight. I'll take the 5.5. I think the Lakers bounce back and keep it close. And, I know the altitude was tough for them in game one, but I think they've been out there getting a little bit more acclimated. And this is playoff time, and LeBron is, as I said, just still the best player on the floor. And if he wants the rock, he's going to get the rock. And I think, if you go back and you look at their track so far, like LeBron's hasn't been called upon that much, but when they've needed a big game from him, he has answered that call. And I think tonight is one of those moments. I won't be surprised if they lose, but I'll take the 5.5, thinking that the Lakers will be up heading into the fourth quarter. All right, so I'm going to go with the Lakers. You're going with Denver. However, I do want to point this out. I feel extremely passionate about the total. I think this is another stone cold over. I think what we saw in that first game, 132 to 126, is what we could possibly see again. A 130 to 124, a 127 to 121. Something along those lines. 226.5 is the number. It bumped up from 4 points from 222 for game one. I don't think that's high enough, 226. And more so, John, I mean, I'm going to bring this up over more to the player prop side where I think this could be an alt line feast. If you want to go, I mean, for crying out loud, look at the numbers from game one. Anthony Davis went for 40 and 10. Joker went for 34, 21, and 14 assists. Like, what is...
Right, if you're going the over, then just start taking alt overs. I get that.
I look at, let's just say rebounds here. Joker, at 15 plus, that's plus 110. At 20 plus rebounds, he's at plus 715. 17 plus rebounds, plus 205 or 250. Like, I don't have an issue with the over 17, the over, you know what? Let's just go ahead and call it what it is. I'll take the over 15 plus for plus 110. I'm getting plus money on 15 plus rebounds for Joker.
I like that because the Lakers, They just didn't have an answer for
No.
him rebounding.
No.
It's really just Anthony Davis, and that's it.
Anthony Davis, like with him for the alt line as far as rebounds are concerned. Anthony Davis, he is at 15 plus 185. Now he had 10. So I would be a little bit more cautious from AD's side of things, but why not? LeBron James has averaged 10 rebounds per game throughout the course of this playoff run. 13 plus, he's at plus 450. I just think this is going to be a back and forth haymaker type of game, fireworks all over the court. And I'm all about taking some shots, whether it's LeBron 30 plus, Anthony Davis 30 plus, Joker 30 plus. Throw that in. What do you get there from a same game parlay? Point of the conversation is here. Take a shot tonight, kiddies. All right.
If you did that last game, you paid off.
Oh, my
very
goodness.
well.
Let's see. Anthony Davis will go over 26.5. We're going to go LeBron James over 26.5. Just those two alone, that's plus 380. And then give me Joker. There he is. And then he's averaging 30. So give me over 30.5. That's 9-1.
Which Lakers player, if you think they're going to win, which Lakers player steps up outside of Davis and LeBron? Last game, it was Reeves. Hachimura had a really good game,
had a good game too. I think it could be, D'Angelo Russell kind of could be a guy that could pop off and hit you 6 3-pointers tonight, 5 3-pointers tonight.
I like that. I actually like that a lot.
But Rui is the guy. I'm all about Hachimura.
Well, we know he's going to stay in because they assigned him with Jokic in the second half.
Yep.
So they're not to say he's going to be on Jokic the entire time, but he certainly has a spot on the floor most of the time because
it worked in the second half too because he was playing him and they were fading Anthony Davis out in the lane and
because they weren't guarding Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon was essentially wide open.
But also the score was kind of reflective of desperation time here, right?
Oh yeah, but your desperation time for them meant sure, Aaron Gordon, go ahead.
Well, I think tonight is going to be a firework type of game. I love the over. Give me the over. That's my number one play. I think the Lakers do hang tight, and I think I wouldn't be surprised if they do win. Again, if you think a team's going to cover the number, you might as well sprinkle something on the money line because we've seen that happen so many times, including last night with the Miami Heat on the road in Boston. I have no issues with taking the Stars over on all of their player props and the rebounds as well. I think this is a game that you go ahead and you take a big old cut in the box, a 3-0 count, and you got the green light. Have some fun. Again, it's our only game this evening. Why not? Why not? And then hope
that's why I'm going to see Fast and Furious 10.
Oh, good grief. All right.
What do you mean good grief?
Fast and Furious is
one of the biggest global franchises in the world.
Doesn't mean it's good.
It does not mean it's good. It's terrible. I love it though. But Sean,
but it looks good though.
You just need junk food. So not every day McDonald's is great, but every once in a while.
I haven't had McDonald's.
If you haven't had McDonald's in a while, and man, a McDouble sounds all right.
My daughter has never had McDonald's.
Nice. That's good.
She's only 3.
It means you're making. Well, my nieces and nephews have had plenty of McDonald's.
Yeah,
and I'm sure most kids have.
I want to get her some Mickey D's. I want to get her a Happy Meal.
Oh,
nice little cheeseburger with some McDonald's fries. I think I got to do my job as a dad. She needs to get it.
Are Happy Meal toys as good as they were back in the day?
Well, I think they got a lot less lead these days than when they had when we got them.
Because they would always do really good promotions.
I don't think you could choke on them as easy as we could back in the day
hopefully
either.
Not.
Yeah. The Hamburger's head.
But that's. I mean, every once in a while, I love my indie movies. I love movies that make me think and that are very artistic and good.
There we go.
But sometimes I need to shut my dumb little brain off, get the biggest bucket of popcorn and soda I can find, and watch a crappy movie.
All right. Well, let me tell you something.
It's fun.
Coming up next, 5 o'clock hour, we get after it. All right. And we're opening things up with Gerald Colton. Gerald Colton is going to correct the record. Rectum. Damn near killed him. He's going to correct the record.
What is that from?
Rectum. Damn near killed him. I don't know. Where is that from? That's just an oldie, but a goodie. All I know is the revisionist history when it comes to Jimmy Butler. The people just make things up because it sounds good. Well, Gerald Colton's going to wax poetic, and he is going to give us nothing but the facts when it came to Jimmy Butler departing for Miami. Could the Sixers have done more? Should they have?
Oh,
Absolutely.
that's Black Sheep.
Wrecked them. Damn near killed them.
That's Black Sheep. I knew it was
It's the
something like
Daily Ticket. Gerald Colton's next. Let's talk about Jimmy Butler back after this.
This is your Thursday Sports Minute, brought to you by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks.
Tonight in Denver, Game 2, Western Conference Finals between the Lakers and Nuggets. Denver, a 5.5-point favorite at home. Over/under total is at 226.5. Nikola Jokic had 34 points, 21 rebounds, 14 assists in Game 1. Get in on his Game 2 individual numbers, which over-unders are 28.5 points and 13.5 rebounds. Off night in the Eastern Conference Finals, Game 2 tomorrow in Boston between the Celtics and Heat. Heat stole Game 1, 123-116. Celtics, though, a big 8.5-point favorite at home tomorrow. Over-under total at 215.5. NBA Conference Finals are off and running with lots of ways for you to get in on the action.
BetMGM is the king of sportsbooks. Download the app today and use code MINUTE. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to have fun and play responsibly. BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 plus to wager. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Jake from State Farm here to answer your what ifs.
What if I need a policy, but I just can't choose?
An agent can help you choose. At State Farm, we're there for your what ifs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com for a quote today.
Hey there, are you in the market for a new car? Look no further than the 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander and Outlander PHEV at CarVision Mitsubishi. With the Outlander, you'll enjoy a powerful and responsive driving experience, while the Outlander PHEV delivers unbeatable fuel efficiency. And don't forget about Mitsubishi's unbeatable warranty and excellent customer service. Mitsubishi, drive your ambition. At CarVision Mitsubishi, you won't be disappointed. Check out their inventory of over 700 new and used vehicles at carvisionmitsubishi.com.
There's a race going on inside your body, and sometimes the bad guys, otherwise known as arthritis, get there first. That's when the joint pain kicks in.
Your healing process is just too slow and just can't catch up, and it needs just a little bit of help from QC Kinetics.
That's Dr. Daniel Zuckerman, a QC Kinetics medical director.
We all know that you can heal yourself. If you get a cut, it heals on its own. Your joints are no different. We can take the healing properties from your blood, concentrate them down, and put them in the spot that you need the help. It's amazing. Your body can heal itself.
At QC Kinetics, that's called regenerative medicine. No surgery or steroids, just lasting relief, the natural way.
The fact that we can treat them without surgery, but using their own body's natural healing process, without medications, without steroids, without surgery, it's just amazing.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000. That's 215-999-3000. 215-999-3000.
When you have trouble sleeping, it's tough. When kids have trouble sleeping,
Mom, I can't sleep. Dad, just one more story?
for nights like this, try Vicks Pure Z's Kids. Our great tasting gummies are specially formulated for kids with a unique blend of botanicals and a low dose of melatonin to support their natural sleep cycle. Best of all, they're drug-free and non-habit forming. Help your child fall asleep naturally with Pure Z's Kids Gummies. Consult with a doctor before use. For ages 4 and up.
Springtime is better at Acme. Whether you're tailgating or grabbing snacks for school lunches, Acme has everything you need. Lancaster brand meats, fresh cut fruit and vegetables, and check out their large selection of O Organics brand certified organic products throughout the store. Acme, fresh foods, local flavors.
I'm 6ABC Action News meteorologist Brittany Boyer with your latest forecast. We've got another cool afternoon out there, but at least we're under plenty of sunshine. Temperatures will be topping out around 68 degrees in Philadelphia, but even cooler conditions at the shore. Speaking of cool, we have another cool night ahead. Not as cold as what we woke up to this morning, but temperatures will be falling into the 40s with a few clouds. And then heading into Friday, we're sunny and bright and also more seasonable with a high of 72.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Warehouse of Philadelphia.
It's the Bedhead Sale at Mattress Warehouse. Come in with your best or worst bedhead and save up to 50% on any mattress. So where would you look to find the perfect mattress? In a little mattress store or a mattress warehouse? Visit mattresswarehouse.com.
Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
Watch yourself at 95 southbound. We've got jam traffic, Woodhaven, down to approaching Copman. There's some sort of debris spill, and it's affecting all lanes. Northbound 95 jam from the Vine Expressway up to Bridge Street. The Vine Expressway westbound backed up 95 to the Schuylkill. Westbound Schuylkill Jen, University of Montgomery Drive and Boulevard to Belmont. Eastbound stop and go City Avenue to South. Blue Route southbound Jan St. David's and Media Swarthmore. 42 South. Heavy off the wall Whitman down the Creek Road. Larry Tratella, total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Verizon. Ready to take control of your phone plan? Well, then you better take that next turn to a Verizon store. Because my plan from Verizon is the kind of control we all deserve. Get exactly what you want. Only pay for what you need. Get my plan at your Verizon store today.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Haley, quote, Navage is the best thing I bought. I love it. My nose feels so clear now and I can breathe. I've been struggling with a stuffy nose for weeks. I bought Navage and it's amazing. Or this one. I use Navage every night, could not imagine life without it. I have 5 cats, and before I found Navage, I was a clogged mess. Now I breathe so much better, unquote. Those are 2 of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
In a new series from the teams at Novel and iHeartRadio, this is the Fighty Pucks. We're going out on the ice with the most violent hockey team ever.
That was guerrilla warfare at its highest.
Were they heroes or villains? You decide.
You and I are going to have a problem. You understand what I'm saying to you?
Welcome to the jungle.
Listen to the Fighty Pucks on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello there. My name is Seychelle, and what makes the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich original to me is the punch of flavors that's unlike any other. You get the crispy tenderness of the chicken and that hint of sourness from the pickles. Ta-da!
Hey, I'm Juan, and what makes the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich original to me is you're going to get chicken that's crispy, golden, and juicy. This is the gold standard of chicken sandwiches.
Order the original Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real customers paid for their testimonials.
A lot of new enrollments, huh? Braylon, Brayden.
Monique's daycare is crawling with new arrivals.
Hey, sweetie, are you hungry?
She needs more early childhood educators.
Did your socks slip off again?
And a nap.
Hey there, little guy. Okay. Shh. Whoa.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Your home for Villanova basketball is WDAS and WD273D, Fox Sports Radio Philadelphia.
It's the Daily Ticket. You know, one of my favorite movies is Private Parts. If you're in radio, it's got to be one of your favorite movies. It just has to be.
Doesn't have to be.
And the program director in Howard Stern's early days was like, please stop singing along with the songs. You can't help myself, man. You hear these songs, you're like, yo, these are my tunes.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
Whatever.
You sound awful.
I shouldn't do a lot of things, but that doesn't stop me here. All right, let's get on out to the Gambler Hotline. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am excited to bring this gentleman on for many reasons. Number one, nobody brings the passion about Philadelphia sports like him. That's guaranteed. But number two, he is in tune with the facts of most of the situations that take place in Philadelphia sports behind the curtain, behind the velvet rope, and that's where the details are. And I think it's extremely important when we get into these spots where 5 years down the road and all of a sudden, you know, whisper down the lane takes place where everybody starts to add their little, you know, tweak or twist and turn to what we thought took place back in 2019. But now here we are in 2023, and it's like Jimmy Butler, we chose Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler, and Jimmy Butler wanted to stay, and he bought a house here, and he didn't want to leave, and everybody's just making it up as they're going about. So I said, today's a perfect day to bring on Gerald Colton to, you know what, bring us back to that off season when the 76ers got eliminated in Game 7 on the road in Toronto and ended up losing that game, as I just said, eliminated, and they had to make a tough decision. They went out and got Jimmy Butler, but could not re-sign him. Gerald Colton joining us right now on the Gambler Hotline. And Gerald, of course, Jimmy Butler is lighting the world on fire. But, I want to get down to the details here. And let's just open it up with this. Could the Sixers have re-signed Jimmy Butler?
Absolutely. They could have.
They could have.
It's not a simple yes,
Yes,
but there's no question they could have.
Okay, so I wanted to set that up, knowing, and I knew the answer to that, right? But so why? Like, why could they not, or why did they not re-sign him? Because we know what he brought to the table. Now, Jansen is telling me that, look, he's never won like this before, and he's right. But I think we can all trust our judgment, our eyes, our gut. Jimmy Butler was a dog. He's been a dog since day one. So I'm not surprised to see him going off and having the success that he's having right now. I'm really not. Maybe some people are. I'm not. He's a badass. All right. So when it came to time to re-sign Jimmy Butler, the Sixers, of course, had to make some tough decisions. They had players under contract. So take us through there. What was the number one reason in your mind why Jimmy Butler did not remain a 76er that offseason?
Wow. I mean, there's more than one. Number one would have been Brett Brown. And but Sean, let's take a trip. Let's get a time machine. Let's go back. Let's
go back in time. All right.
Well, I think we kind of have to, and I don't think, like I said, it's not a simple yes or no, and I don't think it's number one reason. There's a lot of reasons, so you got to go back in time, almost to the start of the process, and know that this franchise brought in Sam Hinkie. Should have never been a general manager, but he executed for the franchise this whole losing strategy called the process, where we're going to tank, we're going to take any good player and get rid of them and make sure we put the worst possible product on the court and charge fans full price. And then someday we'll have all these assets and what do you call them? God, he used the weirdest names. Anyway,
definitely assets. I remember assets was big because those were trade picks.
Something ability, what was his term? Anyway, but he would be, and through the years, by the way, the Sixers keep hiring these guys who I don't think speak English. It was Sam Hinkie, followed by Brett Brown, and now we've got Murray's conference yesterday where he's using phrases and terms like, you just talk to me like a normal person and don't try to act like you're smart. Because when you talk like a normal person, it probably shows how dumb you are is really the reason. But let's go back in time now. So Sam Hinkie starts accumulating all these assets. And the problem became that the league steps in and says, look, you can't keep doing this. And then when it came time to finally make the moves to pick guys, they weren't very good at it. The Jill Okafors, whatever it might be. So then Colangelo takes over, and he has his burner phone and all this stuff behind the table. But he was here long enough to trade away a pick, and that could have been Tatum and one of the other assets that we had acquired to move up 2 picks to get Fultz. He was here long enough to cause problems and not pick Tatum. So finally, come the 2018-19 season, now it's Elton Brand, who's been there basically the whole time, first as a player, then as a front office executive. And now he's given the keys to the franchise. And Brett Brown, who came here really to lose, a guy who would have never gotten a head coaching job in the NBA. He was a career backup, and there's nothing wrong with that, but that's who he is. And the Sixers brought him in because they didn't want a real top-line coach at that point, and he was willing to stand in front of the cameras and lie and say, we're trying, and all the other stuff. So he now, along with Elton Brand, are running the franchise. And in 2018, late 2018 calendar year, early 2019 is when they finally decide it's time to pull the trigger, that Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons are far enough along, and they take some of these assets and now acquire the things that could put us over the top. So they get rid of, guys like Saric, who was part of the process, Covington,
yep.
Even Shamet, who's still going strong.
Wow.
Those guys are shipped out, and they make 2 big moves, and they acquire Tobias and they acquire Jimmy Butler. Tobias, of course, came along with Boban as well. Now, those were, at the time, pretty strong moves. And the Sixers went into that playoff season with a really good team and a really good chance. And on that playoff team, they won an easy first-round series against the Nets. Sound familiar? And then in the second round, they play the Toronto Raptors with Kawhi Leonard. And it's a really good series. Sixers, though, are up 2-1. They blow that Sunday afternoon game. But there's no question, after they lose the tough 7 games, that Jimmy Butler is the best player on that team and he's a driving force. But he was challenging everybody. And I've heard it from the people around him and around the team, especially then, and even around Jimmy in his life since, that he kind of invites and enjoys confrontation. So what he did was he stirred up stuff. And if you recall, Jimmy Butler, and John sort of alluded to it, how Jimmy was perceived in 2019 is actually a lot different than 2023 Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's looked at as this Hall of Famer, one of the greatest playoff players of all time. He didn't have that reputation yet. He was looked at as kind of a franchise destroyer guy. Like, he didn't have a great one from his time in Chicago and Minnesota. So as he's doing Jimmy Butler things in 2019, and he's younger. I mean, at that point, he's like, 30 or late 20s, like 28-year-old Jimmy Butler as opposed to what he is now. He is ruffling the feathers of Brett Brown. And at that point, we still had a trending up Ben Simmons. And the Sixers' decision was really to go with Ben Simmons because Jimmy was telling everybody what to do. He would, on the days of games in the playoffs, be texting Brett Brown in a group text with everybody else and how he wanted the ball and telling Brett what to do. He had team meetings, apparently, when they would be showing film. Brett would say, Jimmy, why don't you do this on that play? And he would just say, because. Like, he's confrontational and almost challenging. And Brett Brown at this point, I felt Brett was always completely insecure. So he didn't want a guy like that. And the franchise, Elton Brand, also chose to invest more in Ben and keep things as they were. And Tobias looked okay. No, I heard you say earlier in the show that there was a 90%
unbelievable
Tobias over Jimmy Paul.
Blew my mind, Gerald.
Unless they polled like 10 Harris family members, and
I don't remember it being like that at all. Kasky Blomain, my guy from CBS Sports, had a poll up in 2019 that was retweeted today on my timeline that had over 2,000 votes, and 91%. It said Tobias Harris or Ben Simmons moving forward, or Tobias Harris or Jimmy Butler for the Sixers moving forward, and 91% said Tobias Harris.
I think they were polling Celtic fans.
Had to be.
I mean, but regardless, the bottom line was, since they had gone all in for Tobias and Jimmy, they certainly had to keep one. And the decision was made by Elton Brand and Brett Brown that to go in the direction away from Jimmy, and they're, by default to Tobias Harris. But I really do think it was a choice of like the organization backing Brett and Brett backing Ben over Jimmy. And it wasn't so much Jimmy versus Ben as they wanted Ben to be that guy who was handling the ball and sort of the face of the franchise going forward. But I think it was Jimmy's tough personality that just intimidated a rather insecure Brett Brown and franchise, and they made a colossal mistake that we'll never recover from.
Now, do you think, and knowing what we know now, and Jimmy has done podcasts, he's done interviews, a few of them. Of course, we had the bubble took place with all this since then. So there's been a lot said. And so I know if like everyone wants to do their due diligence, you can go ahead and dig up Jimmy's words for himself. But my thought process all along was this: it was Brett Brown. It was Brett Brown, number one. And of course, I like the way you put it. That was perfect with Elton Brand as well. But it was Brett Brown. And therefore, if they weren't going to get rid of Brett Brown, then Jimmy wasn't going to stay here. And Jimmy was going to Miami no matter what. That's what my thought process was. Because Miami has Spoelstra culture, all that. Dwayne Wade called him up. It's his boy, Marquette.
Well, it was going to be his team, too.
Yes. It was Miami and Miami only. He was never going to come back to the 76ers. Is that facts or is that a fiction?
No, I think he would have, but it probably would have meant moving away from Brett Brown. That's all.
Yeah.
That there's no way Brett Brown and he could coexist. And look, we have seen Jimmy Butler. We've seen it with our own eyes. Who knows what goes on behind the scenes? Fight with Spoelstra.
It happened this year.
But Spoelstra's strong enough, secure enough, and such a good coach that he can deal with that. Brett Brown couldn't deal with that.
Yep.
And Jimmy is a tough personality, but why is he tough? Because he wants to win.
Yep. He's
So
got
give
heart.
me that tough.
He's got heart.
So give me that. Yep. He doesn't really care what you think of him. He's not here to make friends. He's here to win. And he's doing everything to do that all the time. And that's why they're in the conference finals for the third time out of 4 years since he left us. And we are playing golf or fishing or watching Jimmy Butler play basketball while we are not. And so to me, just a colossal failure of the organization amongst many, and maybe the biggest one, because that is a choice, as you look at it now. But even then, we're going back Brett Brown against this guy who really could win us championships. And had he stayed here, I think that would have been the case. I think we would have won multiple. And instead, obviously, another really, really maddening spring, and leaves us in a really bad place going forward.
Well, number one that comes to my mind is Jimmy Butler, as you said, doesn't care. He's not here to make friends. He is really good friends with Joel Embiid. We know that. Yep. But for the lack of a better term, he would get in Joel's ass, and Joel would listen. And Joel hasn't played with anybody like that, in my opinion. So I think that is more of the reason why I think we could talk about this team actually winning a championship if Jimmy was still here. And unfortunately, he's not. He's down in Miami doing big things. And as you pointed out, we're watching him for the third consecutive year in the Eastern Conference Finals. All right. So
just an aside, Sean,
about
Jimmy. I represented an NFL player named Jordan Leslie. Jordan had a few years in the league, mostly practice squad stuff. Actually caught one pass in the NFL, and it was a spectacular catch. It was like a play of the year type play. And then he got hurt on the next play, and then kind of that was the end of it. But Jordan's family, when Jordan was a young kid in Houston, had a schoolmate named Jimmy Butler, and that's the family that brought him in. And kind of raised him, took him off the streets of Houston, and you've heard that story referred to.
Yep.
Now, those people, the Leslies, they tell me that Jimmy is an a-hole.
I think he's made that very known throughout his career.
But you want to be your a-hole, right? I mean, like Michael Jordan was a jerk.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant was a jerk.
Yeah.
And who cares? They win. That's what it's about, and it is about that drive is what makes them the way they are, and they're driven more than the other guys, and they don't care about anything else but winning. So
yeah, with all respect to LeBron, I can only imagine what he's like behind the scenes, right? All these guys have got to be. And Joel Embiid's a jerk, isn't Joel Embiid a jerk? Right? He doesn't do anything that he doesn't want to do. Is that fair to say Joel Embiid's a jerk?
I wouldn't say he's a jerk. I'd say he's an island type person.
Yeah,
he's his own guy.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say he's jerky, and unfortunately, maybe he could be a little more jerky because maybe it had that drive, that heart that winners have, which is the thing that's lacking in him.
All right, one last one on Jimmy Butler. So if somebody came up to you off the street and said, "Why didn't Jimmy Butler re-sign here?" you would say Brett Brown would be number one, right?
Yep.
And then was it ever a case of, hey, Tobias Harris or Jimmy Butler?
Only insofar as, in my opinion, it wasn't like which one's better, and I don't think the organization made that choice. I only insofar as we can't have gone all in and given as much as we did to get both these guys and let them both walk.
So the decision, it really did come down between Brand and Brown, like you said, where it was like, hey, we can have this guy who we know his ability is incredible, but he kind of ruffles feathers. He does what he wants to do. It might be bad for Ben Simmons' growth, big picture, versus Tobias Harris, which seems like a pretty good teammate. Everyone likes him. He's been here, says all the right things, doesn't stir it up, and therefore the decision was made.
I think that's accurate.
Okay.
I think that's accurate. And unfortunately, I mean, look, you also got to take us back as we are here in this time machine of 2019. Look at the big hair. Oh, no, we went too far. We went to the 80s.
Love it. Love it.
No, but in 2019, okay, and I know it's really hard to believe as what has transpired since then, but we thought Ben Simmons was on his way to the Hall of Fame. Like we thought we were at the start of a really special career.
Hey, man, there's a Stephen A. clip that's floating out. It's him telling LeBron, move out of the way. There's a clip of him talking about Ben Simmons, like LeBron James, if he gets a jump shot, LeBron, move out of the way, and that was what was being said about Ben.
Yeah, and that's how we felt back then. So we were still at the start of the Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons era that we thought was going to produce so much. And I guess it didn't seem as crucial and critical to hang on to Jimmy Butler as it turned out to be. And that's the only thing I give them a little bit of leeway on. But by the same token, anybody with two eyes who watches basketball, I mean, you don't need two eyes. Anybody who watches or knows anything about basketball knows that Jimmy Butler was the best thing we had during this entire era. And that's all due respect to Joel, as great as Joel is. But Jimmy was the thing that could have given us championships, and we let him go. We let him go for really, really bad reasons.
Love it. All right, Gerald Colton joining us here on the Gambler Hotline. Of course, you can hear Gerald all the time right here on the Daily Ticket, especially on Mondays at 4:30. Gerald, I know we played a little bit of phone tag, and I wanted to give you the opportunity because, look, we were talking to you a lot over the course of the two series. Everything came to a screeching halt on Sunday, but, Sunday is what Sunday is. I didn't really have expectations of them going up there and winning. Game 6 was it. And, we talk about the importance of regular season to get home court advantage. Well, they had it. Even though they were a 3 seed, they had it. Win game 6, you advance. And, it's tough to discuss it because we talk about the importance of regular season to get that home court advantage. But here they were, they had the opportunity and they didn't do anything with it. So, when we talk about the future of Joel Embiid and how important it is for regular season and all that, I don't know what to say other than, look in the past, look at the history. But putting that to the side, again, I want to give you the opportunity. Your thoughts on everything from game 6, the final 4 minutes, not getting a touch, to the lack of heart. I think there were moments that Joel Embiid showed that it was a game 7, that it was a do or die, but not nearly enough. And nothing that I would have his, back over. I just thought it was a completely gutless, heartless effort, and I knew they were going to get waxed at halftime and exactly how it played out. But your thoughts, please.
There's so many, Sean, and I'll try to keep them together and concise. There was a guy in the Sixers history that meant a lot to me personally because he was here as a player in the 70s and then came back briefly as a coach right before the process. That's Doug Collins. And Doug once said to me, boy, this game's broken my heart a lot of times. And you got to understand from Doug Collins' standpoint, he made the 2 shots to put the U.S. Olympic team ahead of Russia in 1972, and then that unbelievable finish where they got the gold medal stolen from them. And then he was part of the 77 Sixers, and then he was the coach of the Bulls. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals with Michael Jordan, and they got fired because of disagreements, and until Jackson took over his legacy from there. So he had real heartbreak in the game. But as a fan of the Sixers, I've had a lot of heartbreak. But I've never been as mad as I am right now as a fan at what transpired. And it's a lot of it is all the stuff you've already said. I mean, it's not that they just had the home court advantage in that series. They got it twice. They beat Boston 2 out of the first 3 games in Boston. And you got to win that series. You just got to win it. And when they came home for game 6, and I went up to Boston as I told you last week for game 5. I went up on a Learjet. So come back, had the greatest time thanks to my friend, and all excited. And there was a time at the late 3rd quarter, early 4th, where I'm looking at the Celtics, and they were there to be had. That's where, and I've watched so much NBA basketball, and I see that team on the brink of elimination, and you get, and sometimes you get this look like, all right, we're not going to do this. And the Sixers took that lead late in the 3rd and went into the 4th quarter, and it was there for them. But instead, Tatum said to himself, well, I've still got 12 minutes to get this right, and he did. And Joel Embiid and James Harden and the rest of the cast characters shrunk. And you just can't do that. And like you said, you knew at that point this Sunday was going to be tough. I went Learjet last Tuesday. I went by way of Jeep to Boston.
You drove up. You drove to Boston for game 7?
I did, and I did it for a lot of reasons, okay? And this is, you can appreciate it, but first of all, I'm slightly older than you guys, and I don't know how many times you get to see your team in those situations.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now, I've also been,
Gerald, you're in better shape than both of us put together. I'm just going to let you know that right now, my friend.
Well, I listen, and my father's 90.
You're good, bro. You're good. You're going to be on the Daily Ticket a lot moving forward.
No, but here's the thing. I think once this era of Joel Embiid is over, we're done. And so I for a long time, I know how bleak certain periods of Sixers history can be. And I think one is on the horizon, not far away. We'll get to that in a second, which is why you say, what can they do now? Where do they go from here? And I think, we're coming to the end of this thing with not a bright future. So anyway,
we got to start coming up with a slogan for the next time. What is it? Optimistic about the operation? Would that be a nice little tagline? It's like, I don't know. But trust the process.
But
part 2 doesn't really have a ring to it.
Let's not do that.
No.
But there's also, as a sports fan, there is nothing better than being in the opposing arena for a big game that your team wins.
Absolutely.
Okay, and I'll take a bunch of losses to experience that great feeling. And I felt it so great on Tuesday night, thinking that we're going to finish out Thursday, which we didn't. But I also, in 1982, before either of you guys, well, I guess Sean, you might.
Yeah, 81.
You were okay. So you a 1-year-old. You didn't go to the Game 7 in Boston in '82 though, did you?
I threw a beer at some Danny Ainge, I think. There you go.
So for 1982, the Sixers, the year before the Sixers, in '81, Sixers were up 3-1 to Boston and lost 3 straight by combined 5 points. To me, what was the most gut-wrenching loss any team of mine ever took. 3 games by 5 points, and Houston at 40-42 was waiting in the finals, and an easy championship got away from us. Next year, again, we're up 3-1. Sixers over Celtics, lose Game 5 in Boston, Game 6 again in Philly. No one gives us a chance, and I say, no, I still believe, and I go up to Boston Garden, pay a guard $20, get in, sneak in. I wound up sitting in the first row by meandering my way because I was a pretty wily college student at this point. And that's to beat LA, goes to Sixers pass game, and we win Game 7 in Boston. No one gave us a shot for it. I'm like, yeah, listen, it's 41 years later, and I might be the only Sixers fan in the world that will have been at both of these.
Yeah.
I got to be there.
Yeah.
And so
who'd you cruise up with?
Yeah, a couple, one young man, Alex Persichetti, who was roommates with my son Griffin and is the manager for Paul Reed. And then a guy, Mike Peskin, who lives where I live. He says he just likes road trips. He likes going to other places and likes driving. He did an unbelievable job driving. We left around 9:00 Sunday morning. We were back by midnight, and in between watched the debacle. So it was great. And fortunately, some people at Sixers took good care of me. I had nice seats from them, and it was just everything was great except the game.
Yeah.
Vote for the Bull, but still always have faith that they'll come through. I always have confidence or hope. Hope is really the word. That Joel Embiid, every time he steps to the court, can win. And at some point, he's going to strap the team on the back and prove that he's the best player in the world and want it in the ways that we want it for him or the ways that Jimmy Butler wants it. And he sure didn't do it.
No.
He just sure didn't do it. And then from the time of that I described to you at the late Game 6, where I'm looking at Boston, like, they're on the ropes right here. This is the time you take their heart out. Go for it. Joel Embiid and James Harden, over the next 5 quarters, starting with the 6 points they combined for in that quarter, which was 6 for Embiid and none for Harden, and then the next 4 in Boston combined for 30 points. And Tatum had 67 of his own on those time periods. And then Joel has the nerve to say that Jimmy and I can't do it alone. It was a dreadful performance. And to me also was encapsulated. There was something really symbolic, Sean, that I'd never seen before. That I don't know how to quite put into words, but to me it shows everything about what happened to the Sixers. There was a time about 6 minutes to go, and the officials made one of their many perplexing mistakes, and they awarded 2 free throws to Joel Embiid that should have been Maxi's. Remember on the breakaway foul?
Not really recalling it, but go ahead.
Okay, because Embiid shot 2 free throws, and then a couple minutes later they realized that Maxey should have.
Okay.
So
it was the most absurd thing I've ever seen officials do.
Okay, yeah, no, I am remembering it. Yes, go ahead though. Yep.
I'm watching when it happens. I'm like, do they not know the rules? Like, what's going on here? And so there was a time where Joel Embiid went from 26 to 28 points, and he had that posted for a while. And if you had Joel at over 27.5, you thought you had a winner. And then a couple minutes later, he was back down to 26, and Maxey made the free throws, but he finished with 26. It's the first game I can ever see where a guy actually finished with less points than he had for a while during the game. And I just think it's somewhat symbolic of how he shrunk in the important times and really, really let us down. And he, as an organization, the focal point is so problematic to me. And as you look at the things, the causes of why the Sixers had this horrible loss to Boston and why we're in this situation, I actually start with ownership, because I've hated this whole process, and they have hired and put in place the wrong people to make the decisions all the way along. They've coddled the guys, and the reason that they became the way they were, whether it be Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, has a large part to do with the organization. I don't put everything about Ben Simmons on the organization, but it didn't help how they handled things, and it certainly hasn't helped with Joel Embiid. And then the people they've hired as the people to run the franchise, from Hinkie to Colangelo to Brand and now to Morey, to me, mostly have been jokes. They just have. And that Morey press conference showed you what it is. This guy has just not done a good job. He was hired essentially for one reason, that was to bring James Harden at whatever cost, and took away what we did the previous 9 years and went all in on James Harden, and he was the wrong guy to go all in on. And then, as you look at this team again, as the reason we're here, I felt that Joel Embiid and James Harden, whether you want to go 1A or 1B in whichever order, were much more at fault for this loss than Doc Rivers. I thought Doc did have his best year as a Sixers coach. I'm not saying I minded seeing him go. Yeah. It became very clear to me over this weekend, and I felt it really strongly watching him on Sunday, that he's going to get fired. And there's lots of reasons for it. And I'm not saying that's even the wrong thing to do. But as long as Daryl Morey's calling the shots for this organization and Josh Harris is running it the way he does, we have no chance. And I agree very much with your stance that Joel Embiid, you can't get rid of him. You can't, and you won't, because in order to trade a superstar, which he is, no matter how flawed he is, no matter
he's
how
a top 5 player in the league. He's a top 5 player in the league.
That's an interesting debate, Sean.
Oh God, come on! There's no debate. He's a top 5 player.
No, but here's the problem. It's how you measure that. He is the number 1 regular season player over the last 3 years, probably. It's certainly he or Jokic regular season.
Yep.
But then, but when you add in playoffs, I mean, we could throw in LeBron, Giannis, Steph, right now Jimmy Butler, and Jokic out there. I'm not taking away from how great Joel is, and he is our franchise guy, and you can't get rid of him without getting one back, and you're not going to do that unless maybe Dallas wanted to get rid of a Doncic. I don't even know that's the right move. I'm just saying there's no move out there that really is makeable. But
I think Kyrie's available.
Well, Kyrie would have been in that top 10 list not that long ago.
Yeah,
that list changed.
I'll tell you right now, Kyrie was on a list of untouchables, but we're at a point right now where you got to do anything with this short window that they have. And back over to what you said about Daryl Morey, there's nothing he can do. I mean, I'm hoping that he can get a better supporting cast, because this roster was atrocious at times, and what happened at the trade deadline with McDaniel not even playing, it's just crazy to me. But he didn't do enough.
Sean, yeah, but I see right now they're in a situation because we went so all in for Harden, and we once had all these stockpile draft picks, and now we have none. And but when you look around the league at what Josh Hart picked up at the trade deadline for not very much did for the Knicks, or Hachimura has done for the Lakers.
Kevin Love
signed, and I know on good authority that he was told not to come here because this place is a mess.
Yeah,
absolutely, direct from his mouth. And so, so you look at what Daryl Morey has done. Whether Melton before season, I know John loves Melton, but I don't. And Melton had a great first quarter of the Celtics series, and then made like 6 shots the rest of the way. And then McDaniels and Dedmon were our pickup as a trade deadline. They don't even see the court.
Nope.
So it's like this guy. Good general managers do make moves, and especially when you have a Joel Embiid that you can build around. But he hasn't done that. And I got to tell you, the guy has shown me nothing at all from day one. I'm talking nothing. He hasn't impressed me as a person. He hasn't impressed me with intelligence. He hasn't impressed me with anything, with passion, anything.
Let me push you back a little bit on that one, because that Horford contract was atrocious. He got out of that.
Yes.
Ben Simmons deal was very bleak. I didn't know how it was going to happen, and I was ranting and raving how I would have traded him for anything. I think off the top of my head, D'Lo, of course, the McCollum with Portland. and he ended up with Harden. So he did go 2 for 2 with those moves.
Wait, there's another move too that I got to give him credit for because as I'm going to rip him, I got to give him credit.
Yep.
The Richardson for Seth Curry was a very, very
absolutely good call. Yep.
Okay. So and they drafted Maxey. You know, whatever the reason for that, I'll give that under his leadership. So there have been some absolute good hits. And now the Harden thing at the time. Remember, you and I talked about that, and I thought there were potentially better deals out there. I would have gone for, and I believe it was available, Halliburton, Hield, and draft picks coming from Sacramento in exchange for Ben, rather than getting an old, an aging, declining veteran in Harden and giving them draft picks and Seth Curry and Drummond with him. So but the fact is, he was brought here to bring in James Harden, and there was never a doubt that that's the way they were going to go. But he hasn't done a whole lot since. That's kind of the last good move, right? Now we've got a bench where Jordan Yang is our best guy. So you're right about we have to recognize his good things. But he, at that press conference yesterday, makes comments where he either is dumb or thinks we're dumb or is just lying to us. And one of the simple ones was he was asked by John Clark, who I had dinner with last night, and I said, John, why don't you follow up on this? Because he asked him about James Harden, and he said, what was he? Wait, I wrote down earlier the exact things that we can't have those conversations.
Correct.
Remember he said that?
Yes. I have the soundbite right here.
He can have those conversations. He's your player.
He's your player.
You are allowed to talk to him. You can talk to him about an extension of his current deal.
Well, those are semantics, though, right? Those are semantics, but you're right. You are right.
I mean,
that's
what
good.
What are we waiting for?
Well, it didn't hit me till you're just telling me right now. So I do want to say that.
I'm like, wait, someone follow up. Of course you can have those conversations. Does he either not know that or is he lying?
That is great.
And so, but the other part is you just, and it sure seems this way, fired Doc Rivers in part because Harden didn't want him. And we don't know for sure yet, but it sure sounds like that had something to do with it. And, the Harden, strong endorsement after the game when he said, everyone asked about his relationship with Doc, he said, it's okay. You're like, okay, this guy's gone for sure. And if you fire your coach because of James Harden, but you don't know if James Harden is going to be here, then what are we like? It's all just mind-boggling. And again, I don't have a problem getting rid of Doc. So now you're in the situation. I know you talked about this earlier, Sean. Is where do you go from here? That's really the question.
That's it.
And I do want to give Doc Rivers credit because Sean, remember 3 years ago when you and I are on and the news breaks that Doc Rivers just gotten fired. That Brett Brown was my least favorite coach of all time, and I was just like, hire him. It was my first reaction. The Sixers had him actually within a week. He was hired, and I thought it was the right move for a lot of reasons. I also, from the outside, thought Doc was better than he turned out to be. But I'm going to give him credit where I thought he did a good job. And I do think he turned the culture around from what Brett Brown had created. And I do think it was way more professional in there. He had a much better staff around him. And there were a lot of things that did improve under Doc. But ultimately, he said the weirdest stuff, too, at the end. And you question whether he believed they could win. And so I don't mind seeing Doc go. But when you say going forward, the only thing we can do is get a coach, I have a hard time believing that a coach alone can take this team over the top, and because they're close, but they're not that close.
Well, okay. Number one, it's all we got, right? It's wishful thinking. It's wishful thinking on my part, right?
It's part of why I drove to Boston on Sunday.
Yeah, it is definitely part wishful thinking, but also at the same side, we're watching how important a guy like Spoelstra is, right? You can go ahead and pinpoint whatever. Like, there are good coaches out there, and I think it's not really rocket science what this team is missing. This team needs the MVP to be the MVP. And if Joel Embiid played like he did the regular season in Game 6 in the final 4 minutes, they put Boston away. Instead, he doesn't touch the ball. So that could come down to player. I'm all about criticizing Joel Embiid, but how much does a coach have to say in that moment? Call a timeout, draw something up, do what you got to do to get the ball to your MVP. And Doc didn't do that.
and that's fine. And I'll accept that and move on and hope that someone else can do better. But I do think it rests with Joel, and
Absolutely.
I do think that, and I do think that, when Daryl Morey said a bunch of things yesterday that were just like kind of mind blowing. One was, we have to get him. This is not an exact quote, but we have to get him playoff reps during the season so he's prepared. Like, I mean,
The excuses.
But Joel during the regular season is clearly a very, very different player than he is in the playoffs. And
Gerald, let me cut you off because I want to bring this up with you, and you just get the light bulb off in my head.
Yeah.
Like he got scared. Joel Embiid got scared. He had moments in Game 7. I do want to say that, like, there was moments where he attacked and he was playing downhill. But man,
his 15.8 rebound performance, one of the first. Yeah, he had moments.
He had moments. Yeah, like okay, so there's the guy. So I ask, was he hurt? Was he scared? And I'm almost believing, and you and I have had these kind of conversations before where, hey, look what took place in that game against Denver where he didn't want to play. He could have, but he was hurt. Like, is Joel Embiid that immature at 29 that he is still scared of the big moment? Because it's either that or he was hurt. So what was it in Game 7?
Oh, yeah, you're reducing to a pretty simple equation. I think it might be more complex, and there could be another one that it's not it's just not the way he's driven and built, more as opposed to scared. Like, it just doesn't mean that much. When I saw him step on the court Sunday, I watched him closely. I'm like, damn it, his body language is off. Yeah. It's bad.
Laboring to get back on defense, to get when Harden has the ball, bringing it above half court, and he's still at the free throw line on the other side of the court. It's like, dude, this is Game 7. What are you doing? And I'm not the only one that was calling him out. You had Legler. You had, Jalen Rose was saying it. Everybody that gets paid to talk about, like, saw what we saw. Like, what is going on with Joel Embiid?
And I just think it's something inside of him that he's just not built to be a champion. And that doesn't make him not a great player. A couple of friends of mine who were texting me before at 6, we were 7, it's just to find Joel's legacy in his career. I said, well, it depends. For us, maybe because we want to see him a champion. But for him, I think his legacy and career are defined just fine. He's got more money than he could have ever dreamed of. Yeah. He's got his MVP. He's got, all the great things that have come along with it. And I just don't think winning an NBA championship to him is the definition of what matters. And unfortunately, it needs to be, because the guys you're playing against, to them, it is. To them, it means everything.
To this city. It means everything.
It sure does, which is why I don't know that everyone all at any time really bought into this Sixers team, because we've seen it all before. I mean, could I bring up another Daryl Morey from yesterday?
Yeah.
He actually said, because he was like, oh, I wish we would won more game by 1 point. Well, that's a silly comment to me. But then he went on to say, there's only one team that advanced a couple rounds, or it advanced around this past year besides us. And I'm like,
yep.
What are you talking about? I mean, are you watching Miami play Boston again? I don't know what you're talking about, Daryl. Like,
he kept on using the P word, not process. He kept on going to progress, which I think it's okay. But again, it kind of comes back to what you're saying, where it's like, are we stupid? Does he think we're stupid? Like, no, that's not how we operate here. He kept on talking about progress, which I think there is something there to keep inside, but we don't care about what you do in the regular season. We don't care about Joel Embiid going a tick up as far as, leading the league and scoring and finally getting an MVP trophy. It's a team sport. We care about winning a freaking championship. That's why I hate the second round conversation, because it's about winning a championship. If we lost in the Eastern Conference Finals, I'm not happy.
And look, if there is no progress, if we had like some really good first round pick who was developing or whatever it was, there's no progress on this team. It's going in the wrong direction. We know we want to get rid of Tobias as quickly as we can, and there's no great young players. Maxi's now going into year 4. I mean, he's a very, very good player, but that's, if he points to him as a progress, I don't think that's the case anymore. And we know Harden, if he's here, it's probably not good. If he's gone, what are you going to do to replace them? And neither option is great. By the way,
you hand
Sean,
the keys over. You hand the keys over to Maxey. You have
He
to.
can. Maxey cannot play that role.
You have to.
Maxey cannot play that role.
What else you gonna
Maxey
do?
cannot be a ball handler.
What?
He cannot.
I disagree.
He's not a good enough passer. He's brutal
I
at it.
disagree. I think.
He's
No,
brutal.
my point is, you hand the keys over to him to be that James Harden-esque.
He can't play like James Harden. He's
I'm
not
talking
capable.
Scoring. I'm talking about a guy that when you
He's
need
not
a
capable
bucket,
of that either.
He showed us more times than not he was.
He can be a scorer. I mean, he's a good scorer.
Again, look,
but he's not like this elite scorer, and he's not a good enough passer to be a point guard.
Then what is the answer, John Jansen? Bringing Harden
the answer's
back?
definitely not that. I mean, once Harden's gone, you have to find something else. It's not Maxey.
It's Maxey.
Maxey can't play that role.
Anyways,
you will ruin Maxey.
Sean, by the way,
yeah.
You and I are almost always in agreement here. I'm with John on this. I think Maxey's a very good player, but he can't create for anybody else. He's not a point guard. And I think to some extent, because of his incredible aura and personality and likability, that we in Philadelphia think he's a little better than he is. I like him a lot. I think
he wasn't even a lottery pick, right?
Like, he turned out a lot better than where he was drafted.
Yeah.
I give him Morey credit for that being one of the great things that's happened. I'm very pleased with who Maxey is and what he is. I just don't see him as being the guy and the guy to build around and the guy who could actually play much of a different role than he already does, even though he could probably get the ball a little bit more if it's not hard and going right to Embiid. But regardless of that, there was a great moment Morey had yesterday. When I'm always pointing out things, I got to point positive. Did you hear what he called Howard Eskin?
Yeah, Trent, the guy from Ted Lasso. yeah. I'm one of these guys that never really wants to hear Eskin, but I wanted a little more from him. I thought Daryl Morey got off yesterday. I think they let him off the hook real easy. Nobody grilled him. Nobody held his feet to the fire. And again, dude, what have you done in your career? What championship ring does he own that I'm not aware of? Again, this is the guy that was painted as the savior, as the next up-and-coming great thing in general managers, as far as whether it's baseball, football, basketball, whatever, the next Billy Bean, for a lack of a better term. What has Daryl Morey done, with Houston or the Sixers that he deserves that type of praise? Because I haven't seen it.
But you can go through that. That's why part of the problem, and I always go back to ownership. We went from Hinkie, who had never even been a general manager and should have never been a general manager, hasn't had a job in the NBA since. Now, Hinkie
but he doesn't want one, though. You don't think somebody would have brought him in by now? Nobody can tank like him.
Maybe, but maybe to put in a cubicle, but not to run your franchise.
I think a lot of organizations missed the mark this year. They should have been tanking. There should have been a lot more teams that were tanking and had a better opportunity to get Victor than more.
But then if you're Detroit or whoever, who was Houston, who had the bigger chances and you lost anyhow,
yeah.
What do you have to show for it?
Well, those top three players are pretty good, though.
No, I know, but I'll never believe tanking's the answer. I believe that good management's the answer. But if you go through the Sixers history, like I detailed before, we went from Hinkie, never had done anything at all, let alone won anything, to Colangelo, and Colangelo, father and son, never won a championship, to Elton, who had no experience as a general manager, to Morey, who we believe is probably somewhat of a fraud. We haven't had the guy running the franchise that you can believe in and know is going in the right direction. And I always felt lucked out, and that Joel Embiid fell to us because of his injuries at 3, and he's carried us and covered up for a lot of mistakes, and to this day keeps us relevant, although not a champion material. And I don't believe, look, I hope the coaches out there that can change this. I will stay confident, and I'll drive again to Boston. I'll even drive to Toronto if I have to, wherever they're playing. But I don't think a coach can take Joel at this point and change him that drastically.
Not even Jay Wright? Not even Jay Wright?
Well, Jay Wright, to me, has always seemed way too sane to take that job. But look, Jay Wright is a god. Jay Wright is as perfect as it gets.
Yep.
And if Jay Wright would ever want to be the head coach of the 76ers, obviously you'd be thrilled to have him. But why would he do that?
But he did voice the fact that he would like to give the NBA a shot many, many years ago. It wasn't that long. I would say probably 10 years ago that he said, the NBA is always in the back of my mind. I know the Sixers. The Sixers have called him before, right?
Well, there was a chance. There was a time in those like 05, 06 range years. There was a time where Villanova actually hit a bad point. They had a little bit of a scandal with these phone cards, and Jay didn't have a few good years. The Sixers were saggy with Johnny Davis type years and things like that. And I actually thought that was going to happen, and I thought it would have been great then. And Jay's star just rose from that point on, and with 2 national championships, another Final Four thrown in, and just being the god that he is. So I don't know. I mean, that TV gig's pretty damn good, right?
Yeah, it's pretty, and he's really good at it too. So we'll see.
I don't know. If he were struggling for a job, maybe.
Yeah.
From what I can tell, he's still able to pay his tailoring bill. So I don't know. I would love to see Jay. Don't get me wrong. That would get me excited. I would jump on a couch like I did the day we signed Moses Malone. I've only jumped up and down a few. I jumped. There's 2 times I can remember jumping up and down for Sixers acquisition. One was Moses Malone, because I knew that would put us over the top back in 1982 when they come close so many times, 3 out of 6 finals. And then when they picked Mikal Bridges, I was so excited.
Wow.
And that lasted about an hour.
Yep. And unbelievable still to this day and what he has turned into. Gerald, you just wax poetic, and I hope you feel a little bit better. I know I do. John, do you feel better now having talked to Gerald for 50 minutes there, sir?
I don't feel better that you suggested Maxey is the point guard.
It's not the point guard. No, don't get bogged down on the position. I'm talking about the guy.
You just said he's going to be like the guy, the ball handler. He can't.
He is the guy.
He can't do that.
He is the guy.
He can't even do that.
I think this team is going to progress. Whether we want to believe that the world is coming to an end and we're never going to win another game ever again, Joel Embiid is going to be better next year. You're not going to bet against him. And Tyrese Maxey is going to be better next year. Those are facts.
I think Maxey.
Those are facts.
I think Maxey's.
Those are facts.
Maxey is his.
So wait, I know
facts.
I know you got to take a break, but hold on.
I got to go home.
We got to go home. Yeah.
Okay,
I got to watch Fast and Furious tonight, Gerald.
Wait, I want to hear it. Go ahead, Gerald.
Joel was at the top of the league this year.
Yep.
I don't see Joel getting better unless it comes, in the spring in the playoff time. And I don't see any sign of that. So I love the confidence that Joel will get better. He really can't get much better.
You'll bet against. You'll bet against him then?
No, I do believe Joel can sustain the level he's at right now, but I don't think that level is better. I mean, he could be better.
Joker just went back-to-back MVPs. I could see Joel Embiid doing it.
I mean, so could I. But does that get us any further if he's still the same player?
Hang on. I'm not talking about playoff success. That's not what I said. I talked about, for the people that are saying the doomsdayers out there like Jansen telling me that the world's going to come to an end now. I'm telling you that I think Joel Embiid will be better next year, whether it's conditioning, whether it's, he has another MVP type season. I'm with you. Like he led the league in scoring, that's incredible. Just alone putting the hardware to the side. So for me to sit here and say he's going to have a better year, well, I got to be careful because I'm entering some uncharted territory as well, but I would not bet against him is my point. And over to Maxey as well. I'm not betting against Maxey. What was Maxey's numbers this year, John Jansen? If you're so sure that Maxey is not going to be better next year, what do you think his numbers were this year?
And I don't think he said he wasn't going to be better either. I think it's the role you're looking for him to play.
Yes.
And Maxey has improved every year. He's improved the shot and there's good things. But the thing with Joel, Sean, I believe very much that you have to hang on to Joel. If we got rid of Joel, we're no longer even a relevant franchise. I don't think it's even an option. But I do believe that we're going to start seeing the decline at some point in the next year or two. And then it's going to be we play out the string and then we suck again.
Hey, and I'm fine with that as far as down the road. But this year, this offseason, I'm not moving Embiid. I'm still bringing this team back, believing that they will improve. They will be better. And everything that's happening too. I do think that Joel Embiid, I hope in my mind, I think this rosy red picture that he knows what's being said about him. He knows what's being tweeted about him. Everybody is taking their shots. Good. Get him in now. He deserves it. I hope the Joker wins the NBA championship this year. Either way, we can't lose unless Jimmy Butler wins. I hope Joker wins it all.
Well, that's interesting, Sean, because I look at the way I perceive Joel to be, and I'm not going to tell you I'm inside his head because he's perplexed me a few times. But I worry that his motivation this year was to get the MVP, and now that he has that, I'm worried that the decline might start. I hope he's motivated to get that second MVP. I hope he's, and then maybe you're right. Maybe the key is to watch Jokic win a championship, and then want to prove that he's the best center of this generation at least, and go out and win a championship. I hope you're right on that. But I also believe that the biggest factor determining where the Sixers team goes next year in the immediate future is what happens with Harden. I mean, if Harden doesn't come back, and I don't think there's too many of us that want him to come back, but the guy calling the shots, I think, wants him to come back.
Yeah.
So so when you say run it back, well, if we run it back with Harden or we run it back without Harden, those are two very, very different things. And then what we've have in place with Harden will really prove to be whether or not this team can take a step in a more positive direction. And I hope that's the case.
Yeah, well, fantastic across the board, Gerald. You know, I look forward to our conversations, revisiting 1985, 1982. I think we even went back to the 70s a little bit, man. We were riding today, my friend.
Wait. So last point, because I threw this out at John the other day, because I went back, look, I remember 1967 championship. Okay. So no, but I was a 5-year-old kid and my brain works like that. So I had to go check some of the things. Do you realize that in his time with the Sixers, Wilt Chamberlain didn't miss a game, not a game. And then in the 1967 championship season, he missed 1 minute of the entire playoffs. And I remember because it was Game 5 at Convention Hall, because they finally beat Boston and ended their reign of the entire 60s decade being champions. And they took him out up pretty big late in the game so he could get a standing ovation. And then we watch with Embiid, and you're worried, is he hurt? And you're always worried if he's hurt, or the excuses and stuff like that. Now, I just put that, and they used to play home. Like they would alternate every game and travel commercial. And yet that guy wouldn't miss a minute. So,
yeah.
Just like the point out. I mean,
man.
It's tough. Some of the things that have always been troubling to me about Joel Embiid, but we're a very, very different generation, a very different day. And hopefully we can still have a relevant team that can give us hope, because otherwise I think the future's not looking great here.
They'll be right back winning games regular season. They're going to give us all the hope in the world again next season, no matter who's back there. As long as Embiid's in the middle, they're going to win plenty of games in the regular season. We'll just see what happens in the postseason. But I hope there is some new, new life brought into the franchise this offseason, and we'll see what happens there. Gerald, always a pleasure, sir. Enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll catch up over the weekend. Go Phils. Plenty of other Philadelphia sports to talk about over these next couple of months.
It's fully baseball season.
Damn
now,
right
so
it is.
We're all in.
You the man, Gerald. Catch up with you. There he is. Once again, Gerald Colton on the Gambler Hotline. Fantastic stuff as always. I mean, I'm not sitting here telling you that Max. No, nobody plays. It's a positionless game, dude. Nobody's a point guard. Nobody's a
no.
Nobody's
it's
a
not
center.
that. You do. It's a positionless game, but you do need somebody to handle the ball. You do need a player like
I
Harden.
think Maxey
cannot do that.
I think Maxey.
He is literally not capable of doing any of that.
Score.
He can score. Absolutely.
That's all I'm thinking about first and foremost. I expect Tyrese Maxey to give us 23 to 24 points per game next year. He averaged 20 this year, up from 16 a year before. If you give him the opportunity, if you pump it into his head, this is what's needed. I'm willing to bet on Tyrese Maxey taking that step up. I'm with you. Is he the perfect player? No, he's flawed. His game is flawed in certain areas, but can he improve? Yes, he's young enough. He's shown us enough over the past few seasons. Why not give him the opportunity? Again, this is worst case scenario. You and I are in agreement. Gerald's not. He doesn't want Harden back. I'm willing to take James Harden back.
I just think it's the only option you have.
I agree. Other than that, you got to go with Maxey.
And look, Sixers might be the only option Harden has. I know Houston could, just because they need to drum up some excitement, I guess.
All right. We got to go.
Yeah, I want to go. I got to see Fast and Furious tonight.
What time's the movie at?
I don't know.
All right.
I will be seeing it tonight.
Daily Ticket, Thursday, always fun. Tomorrow, back at it, 3 to 6. Tomorrow, you get a little bit of everything. You get John Jansen and Line Change. You get The Divide with Mike and Corey. You get Tim O'Keefe with Balls, Bats, and Bets. So we got you covered with a great evening of programming. Phils and Cubs. It's Buster's birthday. Saturday, The Preakness Kitties. Oh, I closed out the Vox Pro.
That was terrible.
Preakness. We got plenty to talk about tomorrow. Join us. Daily Ticket, brand new one tomorrow. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Shout out Luke Arcani and Gerald Colton. 30 for Joker, 30 for Anthony Davis, and that's
it.
Plus 380. That's my play. Go Lakers.
Give me Jokic for 40.
We gone. Peace.
Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
We've had a backup on 95 southbound Jansen Street Road down to Cotman. Good news is debris on the roadway has been cleared and all lanes are open again. Further south, 95 Jam Ridley Park to the Commodore Barry. Northbound 95, stop go for the Vine Expressway up the bridge. Vine Expressway westbound crawling 95 out to the Schuylkill. In that delay, watch for a disabled vehicle in the left lane approaching Broad Street. Schuylkill Gin up westbound University